Anyway, you're up at the door. The thugs have stepped out from behind this stack of barrels on a pallet.
Yeah. Huh.
So, this space is, you're looking at just over 20 feet between door and wall. There is a low parapet-style wall, notionally to stop you falling off. To be fair, all it is a trip hazard.
And as I recall, as we ended, I had pushed the dwarf behind me towards the door.
You had?
And taken up an on-guard position from Campagny with my blade actually drawn, if I remember.
Yes.
And I believe I had
Unlike
drawn
the
up my
previous,
sidearm.
You had. Yes.
I'm actually pointing a metal pointy thing at them.
Yep.
Steel has been shown.
Steel has been shown, indeed. There are 6 bulky Scotsmen whose accents I'm not even going near. Och, I the nope.
Are we talking Ramsay Nesbitt or Billy Connolly?
Well, let's put it this way. Although the leader was fairly sort of well-spoken Highlands, the rest of them are all the touch of the Glasgow. So expect that. There's a lot of red hair going on here.
Yeah. Glasgow Dockhand.
Yep. So, what you doing? How do we do initiative? It's...
Have they actually said anything at this point?
Yeah. Basically,
Really should have gone back and listened to the end of the last stream.
I should.
Remember.
We should have had the Doctor Who style repeats the bit immediately before the credits run.
Or the King of the Rocketmen style that shows last week's episode, but with a slightly different angle
Yes,
and
that you
twist
can
and
actually get
happenings.
out of. Yes. Oh, you're clearly dead. No, wait, you're 2 foot further to the left than you were a moment ago.
yes.
Oh crap! I've just seen my hand.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can I keep the ones I have for sorcery deck? They were way low.
Don't think that counts.
Quigley suddenly decides to multi-class it.
Yeah.
What they did say was basically hand over the dwarf, and you won't get hurt.
And I said I can't remember what I said, but I know I said something that basically amounts to no sod off. And drew my weapon. But I can't remember what I said now.
Okay.
I do apologise.
Oh, don't apologise to me, mate. I just apologise for not having gone back and re-listened to the end. It just this afternoon got away from me quite badly.
That happens. That happens a lot.
Less so for me, usually. Right. Okay, so yes, I did establish, however, that those inside could hear this exchange because he wasn't being quiet about it. And the door was open. So, we are looking at heroic feats, no having a fight, combat. Let's have a fight and go to Canterbury.
That takes me back.
Sorry.
It does, doesn't it?
Unfortunately, it's one of those, every time I hear somebody read it.
That goes back to where a mutual acquaintance of Knight Strut and I used to be in the police force, and he described it wasn't the caution really, it was the way you approach a suspect who is doing something that they need to stop doing. He always described that as, let's have a fight and go to Canterbury.
Because that's where the main jail was. But when he was giving the caution, he just knew, there were some cases apparently he just knew it just wasn't going to be it's a fair cop. Outside bars at 2 o'clock in the morning.
So that said, trying to protect his integrity there, but he also wasn't a policeman for very long.
No, he wasn't. Right. I've lost initiative. Excuse me.
We had this problem before.
We've had this problem before. This is me. This is just purely me being a chimp. Also,
So,
in
quick
fairness,
question.
we had this problem before. I think it did prove to be awkward.
yeah.
Turns and time in combat. For some reason, this sentence seems to start at the beginning. At the middle. Because it reads, should be taken in order of highest to lowest perception.
Perception, that was it.
All actions are taken by mutual consent but are considered simultaneously. I'm sure that should read actions should be taken in order of highest to lowest perception ability. So.
Yes. However, thank you, perception. I knew it was based on one of the stats, and for the life of me, I couldn't remember which one.
Perhaps since they are currently so busy with The Witcher and Cyberpunk Red and can't possibly have time to do it for themselves, the Altasaurian Games need to find some convenient freelancer who might edit them a second edition of the game with such adjustments made in. I wonder if we can find someone who works as a freelancer anywhere near here.
Now, where might we know one of those? Because I'm going to be needing one of those fairly soon.
How many multiple of those exist on?
I was going to say, how many have we got going here? What's this? There, my lord. Yes, and for those watching, yes, the chat box did have a moment just now and decided to go full screen for reasons known to somebody who isn't me. I think OBS just had a complete spasm.
I don't know if he's actually here watching or he has just put his browser in chat to give us a viewer, but either way, I would just like to say hello, Nocturne, welcome aboard, and thanks for being here.
Indeedy.
Nocturne, you will be able to see on this channel in the not too distant future when Knight starts playing running wars again.
Oh,
Yes.
God! We're getting
Yes.
Nocturne. Cool.
I'm hoping
Yep.
so. I'm hoping we can get both Nocturne
I
and
was
Ranger
speaking to him
back.
earlier on. He was streaming earlier this evening. I don't know if he still is. Presumably not, if he's in our chat. But I was speaking to him earlier on, and he is definitely keen to play.
Excellent.
Excellent stuff.
That's awesome.
So we need to chase that main Jester, and then after Warhammer, we can get back to wars. Unless you first do Warhammer.
fulfilling the international part of the Hobby Gamers International Club, then.
Absolutely.
Well and truly.
Right. So, who has the highest perception? What are people's perceptions?
I
Yeah.
believe two of us have at least good, which is myself and Carter.
Yep.
I remember now running into this problem the last time that Randolph got in a fight. I realised that perception is not good for him.
Surely he's not good for perception.
No, perception is not good for him. Other things would be good for him as the marker for initiative. Perception is not.
Quickly had things pointed out to him, not...
Yes. I mean, he's not actually bad at it.
No,
He's
but-
just average. But
Right.
he is only average, which means that so far everybody we've ever fought is quicker than him.
Okay, so
That
far...
whole one person.
Yes. So far, we are looking at good going first, then.
That would be... Shoot, I was about to say that would be both me and Grand Magistrate, but of course...
Yes, I am not there yet, so I defer to you.
Hurricane is still indoors.
Yes.
Remind me, what was it they had said so far?
Largely hand over the dwarf and we won't beat you to within an inch of your lives.
How much of them can I see, of any of them? Is it just sort of head and shoulders up because they came up from behind?
No, they came up from behind
No,
the bars. They have
stepped
actually
out being
stepped out.
threatening, as I
Yeah.
recall.
Excellent. So
They
knees
are doing the whole
up-
bog roll under each arm walk.
So
Well, they-
knees are visible.
Yes.
Are
Oh,
they wielding anything?
Okay, rephrase this. Their knees are not visible. You can see where the knees would be in trousers. They have not pitched up wearing kilts.
You see that?
Oh, but they are Scottish.
I don't care.
I'm trying to be good. I'm trying to redeem myself. I'm not going to just go for headshots and kill them outright. I'm going to give them a chance.
Okay.
they may be Scottish, but they're not stereotypes.
The whole route to redemption is kind of fuzzy on the subject of kneecaps, right?
This is a pulp daring do adventure. Surely they should be stereotypes.
They were passing as dock hands
God knows
in
Randolph
London.
is.
You show me any dock worker who would confidently be swinging around bits of rope and cable while swinging around in a kilt.
Well, irrespective of the fact that it is Scottish ware and not anybody else's, if any was going to have the nerve to do it, it'd be a Scot.
Fair play. Right.
So yeah, the one that looks the biggest and the beefiest, I want to try and drop him, ideally in one shot, but without killing him. So I'm going to take one of his kneecaps out.
Cold shot then. Right.
While this is going on, have we heard anything that's been said already?
You have heard the shout, well, the loud accosting, because the door was opened.
So, how long does it take to get from one end of the warehouse to the other running?
Running? It depends. Were you up on the balcony? Because you were at one point up on the walkway.
I thought I'd come down after I'd weaponised.
If you're not, then not that long, to be honest. Probably looking at end of next round.
I have a question for Lyricane then.
Yeah.
How good is he in a fight? Because I want someone to stay so there's eyes on the dwarf.
I was intending to pretty much stay here. However, conventionally speaking, Lyricane is not...
That's what I was wondering.
Lyricane is the very definition of a lover, not a fighter.
Also, he has the fun and games he can't get in certain areas of this warehouse.
Yeah.
Because of the cold iron in the forge.
My response to having heard everything is just going to be a quick comment to Lyricane of eyes open, and I'm going to turn tail and head the other end of the warehouse.
Here we go again.
Well, that's you told.
If something terrible involving cold iron ever happens and we need to do a retrospective for Lyricane, we should definitely use Divine Comedy's theme from Casanova.
Yes! Absolutely. Da, 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 da. I can see that.
So,
Right.
Were this a slightly more modern? Actually, no. We are in 1900s.
1850s.
No, 1850s. Anybody remember what time period Scarlet and Black was set in?
Oh, God. Oh, I'm not googling because if I open the second window, that's appearing it. But no,
I'm gonna look. I think I'm going to look that one up for next time because the lead character's outfit in that was amazing, and I think I want Lyricane to be wearing something like that at.
I can see. That I can see. Okay. So, combat is resolved as any other kind of feat. The attacker adds the face value of the combat ability he's using to whatever fortune card he decides to play, then compares his total. Right.
Sorry, say that again?
It works just like any other skill. You add the face value of your combat ability to whatever fortune card or cards.
And it's a little bit like Fighting Fantasy, isn't it? In that it's an opposed thing. It's not an I attack you, you attack me, I attack you, you attack me. It's a we have a ruck. Yeah? Am I right in thinking that?
Double check.
I mean, I know that it does go. You take a go, then I take a go. But if I remember rightly, those are opposed, aren't they? They're not. You're not just rolling to dodge. Or am I thinking of something different?
I think you're thinking of something else. If the attacker's total is less than the defender's total, the attack fails and causes no wounds. No, this actually works out more like Witcher.
Well,
it's his Witcher and Cyberpunk.
That's a variation not in the book that would speed up combat if needed. Would be to do it like Fighting Fantasy and just have a single, each round do a single comparison for the two characters and winner does damage.
Yes. This is, however, quite
But
lethal.
we'll ignore that for the moment. Because it's not in the game at all. I'm just talking nonsense.
You're just making shit up now, Fish.
I'm just...
redesigning games on the fly.
Well, with regards making shit up involving game mechanics, it's what I used to do, okay? It would be nice to get back into it and sometimes remind myself.
Okay. So, indeed, Carter, what weapon are you using? And what are you doing?
So I've got my pistol.
Yep.
I'm picking the biggest, baddest looking one of these dudes.
Right, that guy.
And I'm shooting his kneecap out.
Right, that guy is a large Reddit? It's a Redditor. Shit.
Oh no!
Oh, in that case, take him out now.
Yep, he's going to whinge at you for misspelling pistol. It's a large red-headed gentleman to the left of the leader as you look at him. He looms over his boss's shoulder despite the boss being quite big.
Okay. So this is a cool shop, so I'm going to need the best possible I can for this. Now, as a marksman, at great, how many cards can I throw in to boost this?
Right.
I've got the one basic. How many extras do I get?
Okay.
Great is 3 cards total.
Yep.
Do I want to put the third card in? Okay, if I put a third card in, it only gives me 1 extra point. Not a lot of point. But, so 8 plus that gives me 21, and I like round numbers, so let's make it 22.
Translation, I hated all my cards. So decided to get rid of the lot of them. Right, so 20...
Get used to that. You'll be seeing it again soon.
So 22, and it's on... I want to say spades.
No, I want to say as I'm shooting this.
No, it's clubs.
Stand down, and the rest of you can walk away.
I think kind of close to what I said at the end of the last session when I pointed my sword at them. I'm sure it had something to do with them departing before we poked holes in them.
Yes. Stand down, the rest of you can walk away. You might have to hobble.
Okay, so do I think these guys have athletics? Yes, they... Oh, no, God, no, he doesn't.
That's a relief.
Right. No, this one actually does, because he's got that whole I throw capers in my spare time.
Shit.
Trouble is, I'm looking for clubs. And that. And because it's the same colour, that. But that's still not going to cut it.
I'm relieved at that.
Yeah. I'm not annoyed. So I didn't mean that to come out in my outside voice. Right, you have achieved an astounding feat. So,
do I draw up yet, or?
You do indeed. You draw up as soon as you go. Sorry, us. Really not with it this evening. When I get into the swing of it, I will be fine. I apologise for being a little bit on the rule book today.
That figures.
Shit happens. Not everybody can be on the top of their game all the time. So I'm just checking how far in how far in an attack you actually do full damage. Okay, that's equal to or greater, definitely. That's partial success. So you got a 22 and he got a not 22.
Very careful to tell us not what is not what his athletics is.
Yeah. He really didn't get. So he got that, which is pants.
We got at least 8 because that's just the cards.
Yeah, I know. He actually got 14. He's got a good athletics. The attacker's total is greater to or equal than half again. Which, yes. Oh, no, that's... Yeah. 14 plus 7, 21. Oh, aren't you glad you put in that extra point?
I'm glad I put in the extra card, yes.
Right. So, ranged weapons. So, you get a full success. There are 3 success things, which is partial, full, and high. If you equal to or beat his defense, you get a partial. Time and a half on his defense, you get a full. Double it, and you get a high. So, this is a pistol. Do you have it listed as to what kind of pistol? Because otherwise I'm just going to list it as drop pistol.
I do not. I did when I created the character. I did ask for a pistol that could be converted with add-on parts into a rifle, but essentially the caliber would still be a pistol.
Yeah, it'd still be a pistol.
So whatever caliber you decided that pistol would be is down to you.
So you're doing 4 wounds to this gentleman.
All to his kneecap.
All to his kneecap. Ow, 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 ow. And indeed, ow. And his physique is great, and his courage is average, and he's got 7 health.
Not anymore.
Not anymore, he doesn't. He's not happy about this.
You literally heard the tendons go sproing.
Straight through the patella. Yep, that guy's going to need keyhole surgery.
Physio for a couple of months.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see about getting him some workers' comp.
Yeah. Yes, good athletics, great physique, basically. It's,
Yeah, are we going to receive a bill from the Mooks Union?
Yes, we'll hench for medical insurance.
Have you been injured in a henching accident that wasn't your fault?
Has your boss left you high and dry and strung up at the mercy of your erstwhile enemies?
Yeah, fish, I think it's purely the combat system that I trip up on. The rest of it I'm perfectly happy with, but I think it's just
It's
we
an
haven't
interesting
done
system.
much. It's because we haven't done enough. I shall have to make sure we do more combat.
Oh yes, what fun.
It is too right.
For that has gone so well for me so far.
Yeah, it's not my fault. Is it? Well, is it? Or is it?
I don't know.
No, not really.
Right. Okay. Now I'm hoping that anyone who has my stream up is no longer watching just on the gentleman's agreement. Because I have a hand of cards as well. Okay. So, that was good.
Now,
So,
do I still get? Do I get to do any level of intimidation, or other spoken way of convincing them that maybe they want to back down, having just kneecapped the one on the first shot?
you can give it a go. I mean, the guy's still up, but he's gripping his leg and yelling in Scottish. You're not sure what he's saying, but you're fairly sure you can't do that even with a beer bottle.
The normal way of doing several feats at once, by the way, is that the difficulty is raised by 1 level for each additional feat, and you just play cards once, based on the primary thing.
Okay.
So in the case of using your attack to intimidate someone at the same time, the attack would just be that little bit harder. But if you succeed in the attack, you succeed in the intimidation. That's the way I'm reading it anyway.
Yeah,
it's on
that
page
is.
184.
Yes. 83 was that?
184.
Oh, right, okay, I'm on 189 looking at the wounds.
I mean, given that I didn't state that at the start, I'm happy to forego that and take that on my next action.
Right, so your honourable duel on 1 against 6 fish has turned into... What is this strange Antipodean gentleman?
This is giving some common thugs a good whipping.
Hello there,
They're
gentlemen.
not gentlemen. One does not duel with the type with this sort.
It ill behooves someone of Quigley's stature to do anything of the sort.
Yeah.
Indeed.
No, you're just going to now go with the elevated fighting. I love the idea he's using Canvenu with a blade. That's just nasty. Right. You're basically going with that saber style.
Yeah, essentially.
That's military
So,
saber.
very like.
Yeah, from what I've seen.
I should, of course, have left it as the cane for this situation because I'm outnumbered and Compagnie is designed. It has moves specifically intended to keep people at bay when you're being mobbed.
But you need to be able to
And
hold
if they
both
get
ends
too
of the
close,
cane.
they fall over.
Yeah, you need to be able to hold both sides of the cane, both ends of the cane.
It does not work when you've got it in small sword form.
No. Okay.
But I just thought the blade would be more intimidating, and I was hoping that they would run away without having to fight them.
I suspect that these folks are not educated enough to appreciate the difference between being belaboured by a cane and being belaboured by the sword.
This is entirely possible.
No. So, we are dropping to the average perception rank. Which is when they are all going outside.
So, simultaneous actions.
Yes.
Them and me.
It's only 5 on 1. Technically. Because one is still clutching his leg going, bastard!
So,
the leader... Okay.
Assuming that they are coming in mob-handed, which they're not necessarily doing, but I'm making 2 assumptions at this point. Assumption 1 is they're coming in mob-handed, and assumption 2 is that the dwarf is actually going through the door, not standing where I shoved him.
Oh, the dwarf's chicken, yeah.
Good.
Because if he's standing there, I have to stay where I am. But since I'm not going to take the time to look and see, I'm making... both I and Quigley are making the assumption that he is going through the door. That being the case, Quigley's action is going to be to move to his right and swing at the rightmost thug.
Okay.
The point here is to not let them surround me by anticipating their charge in to do so, and moving right so that most of them find themselves in totally the wrong place. And the one who isn't in the wrong place, well, you know how Compagnie works, but to explain slightly for anybody who doesn't, he's holding his sword reverse-handed, essentially. It's sort of pointing downwards. And the blow is a flick round.
Yeah.
So it's not the most powerful blow in the world. It's designed to be done with a weighted cane, where the weight on the end of the cane adds a lot of force to it, and also swings it past their defense should they make one. But in this case, he's not actually wanting to do serious damage. He actually wants to cause pain rather than injury. So if you will allow me this, Jut, no matter how high I get, I don't want to do more than partial damage. Because what I'm trying to do is basically scratch them with the tip, not cut them with the...
Okie dokie.
So hence the flick round, sort of, worst case take out an eye maybe, but that's not what he's trying to do.
I don't want to do full damage, but if I take out an eye, that's fine.
Just take out an eye. Yeah, he's not trying to
That's
take out an eye, but you know, if he gets the aim a little bit off, he's aiming more really to sort of cut across the cheek, that sort of thing.
Okay.
But doing it with that sort of lightning speed that move has, it whips around really fast, and if it's coming anywhere near your face, it's going to be bloody intimidating.
Yeah.
So actually, I think, I will specify that this is an attempt to intimidate more than to hurt by doing that. So I am trying to hit him with my sword, but this is a dual feat. I'm trying to intimidate as well.
Okay. Right, go for it then, Fish.
But this is happening at the same time as whatever they're doing, so I don't know whether whatever they're doing is going to interfere with my action. It may render it completely impossible if they do totally the wrong thing. Not come running in towards me.
No, 4 of them are coming in. Actually, no, 3 of them are running in towards you. The others can't get at you because of the stuff.
Well, I'm going to miss like a good one, is the technical term for this. Can I just check that with my... I believe I'm good at fencing. Yes, with my good fencing, I can...
That's a 6.
2 parts?
Yes.
Right, okay. So I will play a 2 of clubs, bringing me up to 8, and then I will just throw away this 6 of hearts because I really don't need it for an extra point.
Right.
Yes, that's going to miss is the technical term.
Okay. Not necessarily.
I'll bring you cards in the hope that they will be any use to me.
Oh no!
Yes.
Are we back to Thursday, Trot?
We're back to me
That's
making.
more like it.
I've got an awkward decision to make. Is the problem? As anyone who's
At least I've got
watching
a gun
my
against your
stream,
head.
which better not be any of the players, is you see I've got that, and therefore would be fine. But I've got that, and I want to use it to hit somebody. But otherwise, I've got nothing.
That doesn't sound great.
It doesn't. So yeah, 3 of them have headed towards you, and they are attempting to put one in front and flank you with the other 2. It does
So
unfortunately
it'll
mean
be
one is
the
going
one
to be in
trying to
front of.
flank to my right, his left, is the one who's
Okay.
going to be attacked because I'm moving right to avoid exactly this flank.
Okay, that's not a problem. That's going to be Alex, who is
She's
short
probably
and
going to put
stocky.
me with my back to these. Hang on, if I go to select so that I can ping, it's probably going to put me with my back to these barrels, isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
Carter is going to be more over towards this pile of sacks and empties.
Carter is the one who is more covering the door than Quigley is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just to clarify, no one's actually in front of the door.
Nobody is actually in
Well,
front of the door. Arthur
Morph
has
will be
just.
standing in the door.
Yeah, he's just been thrust inside the door, and he's sort
Hopefully,
of
he's going to
standing.
keep on going through. the
Yeah.
door.
He hasn't yet fully made it through because he's just what? Doesn't quite know what's going on because he's an idiot. As far as common sense goes, this guy is lacking.
So stereotype: high intelligence, low wisdom.
His brother got the common sense in the family. Hence, he was the one still in hiding. Right. So, they are coming at you, so you are taking a swing at him. So, gold. So this is done on his athletics, which is good, but that doesn't really matter because that's shite. So, same colour is going to get him 3 points to add on. And then I'm chucking away that for a total of +4. So he gets 10. Did you say you got 9 fish?
I said I got 9.
Yep. So he
Yep.
just squeaked away from you.
The only card I had of the right suit was a 2. It is literally impossible to get a worse result than I did and still have a card in the right suit.
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, I didn't have to throw a card that was just going to be worth 1 for my second card. I could have thrown a spade for my second card and got half its value, which would have been 1 instead.
Yeah, I just had to dump in 7 of clubs. Oh no, hang on, it's on clubs, isn't it? Ah, he did it properly then. She
Clubs
says.
or spades? You threw a spade in.
You threw
I
a
threw a
spade.
spade
yeah.
in. Hang
So
on.
that would be, 3 points, plus 1 is 4 points.
I got over.
Which gives you 10, as you said.
Yeah, I got over optimistic then, and my brain went, "No, that's the proper. That's the proper
All
one."
overexcited there.
I got all overexcited and thought he matrix dodged you. No, all he did
You've
literally
been
was.
watching one hit die and thought that he
Yeah.
was attacking me with a magic spade.
Yeah, what he did was he came in leading with the face, and your sword just went scooching straight past the end of his nose, and he just went woof. Oh. Right, so yes, that leaves it on his turn. So Alex is attempting to thump you.
And if you're there and can hear us, hello, Mazza. He may
Hello?
well. He hasn't offered anyone tea yet, so he may well be that his machine is in chat and he's not yet.
Fair enough. So this is fisticuffs from Alex.
Fisticuffs.
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 Fisticuffs indeed.
So, tell me, how does using fencing to defend against fisticuffs work?
You stab him in the knuckles.
Well,
I mean, I've done enough HEMA. I've done no fencing, but I've done enough HEMA to know that it trains you more than just using the point and edge of the sword. So I'm assuming that stepping out of the way, or simply blocking with my other hand are manoeuvres that I know how to do.
Yes.
Yes, because you'll be using combat fencing, not show fencing.
Yeah. Possibly even blocking with the same hand in theory, because it doesn't have to be the sword. If he's coming in close enough to swing a fist at me, you can block with the forearm.
Yep.
Without necessarily.
Alternatively, handguard.
With the
or
no
the hand.
guard.
Well, I don't
no
have
guard
handguard because I'm using a chainsaw.
Ah, yes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
If you're using a saber, then yes, you just literally you can block with the.
I mean, if I
guard
block
across
with the
hand.
pommel, that's lead weighted for hitting people when I'm using it as a cane. But
there is that. But I would suggest that's more of a ending him rightly situation than.
I
love
suspect
that's an official term.
I suspect what my defense is actually going to be. I just want to be sure that I can do it under the fencing skill. Athletics. I suspect that what my defense is more likely to be is continuing the movement that I started, and having stepped right to get into the position where I'm facing him, not all three.
Yeah.
I will then continue right so that his blow goes to my left.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Which would seem to make sense as something that I would be able to do.
Yes, I have no problem with that. It's where it's actually kind of handy that we have all done swords of some description there.
It's kind of stepped into to attack and then following that up with a crump without actually hitting him.
Yeah. Okay, so his attack on you.
It's probably going to be far too good.
Ooh.
However, far too good. That was a waste of a 7.
Sorry. However,
apparently Randolph Quigley is doomed to get the shit kicked out of him. I thought giving him good fencing would make him in any way useful in a fight, but it's his second fight and he has so far proved useless entirely.
You can understand
nothing any good.
You can understand, I'm guessing, why when faced with that ace I just refused to use it for defense earlier. Because I wanted to hit you with it.
This, to my mind, is one of the problems with this system. It's an interesting system, but it does have that problem that it's not about randomness so much as it's about resource management.
Yes.
Yeah, you're managing that ace, and as a GM, you've got that decision that you were torn over, rightly, is do I try and hurt my player characters, or do I try and keep my NPC alive? Now, the sensible thing is what you've done, because it doesn't matter if I hurt one of your NPCs. You've got us outnumbered. You should focus on taking us out. But in that situation, that means we're going to be facing aces and other really high cards. When we're having to try and reserve cards for defense, puts the players entirely on the defensive and makes it almost impossible to win.
Sorry.
Which, to be fair, in an outnumbered situation, should be the feeling that we get.
Should be the feeling that we get, but given we're heroes, should not be the reality of the situation.
Yeah, there is that trade-off. Yeah.
I mean, I've got an ace, but it does me no good whatsoever because it's an ace of hearts. So unless I want to seduce one of the attackers.
Well. This might be worth a shot. I don't know.
No, okay, so basically that's going to be full damage, isn't it?
Yes, I'm just looking up hand-to-hand damage as opposed to weapon damage. Because he is coming in with just his fists. He isn't using a life preserver or anything.
No knuckle dusters. No.
Blow based on physique is halfway down the hand-to-hand weapon attacks table.
So it is. So that's on there. Really? God's sake. Memo. For future reference, he will pull out a knuckle duster.
Are we talking? Are we talking
May I make a
basically the
suggestion?
1d4?
Pretty much, yeah. You're looking at the old D&D D2 for a knife.
Yeah.
May I make a suggestion, Drat, that if the rule does not exist somewhere already, you may want to consider house ruling in being able to use brawling, fisticuffs, whatever the skill for punching people in the head is, in place of physique for calculating damage. Because under this system, the tiny little Chinese guy with no physique can't do any more damage punching you, despite the fact that he's spent 14 years training in Wing Chun.
To be fair, he would do exactly the same damage because it's good to great. And he's packing great.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is not this guy, I'm not saying. I'm just saying
no.
It kind of shafts martial artists if it's based
Yeah.
on physique, because they're
No,
not
I know what you
necessarily
mean.
going to have that physique.
However, at the moment, what was your total? Was it about 14?
My total was crap.
13, is
I'm
it?
good, which is 6, yeah, plus 7
Yes.
is 13, yeah.
Yes. I was just checking I was only doing full damage to you and not high.
Not high. No, you're not that good.
No. Just thwacked you for 2 points then. 2 wounds. Stunning blow just came round.
Yeah,
Smacked you on the knuckles.
It's all well and good saying, oh, it's only 2 points. I only have 5 to begin with.
I know. I'm not using the black spot rules, so you're okay. He has to act. They have to actually kill you.
It's all right. He's got to deliberately decide to kill me after he's knocked me down, for me to die. And it's not like they have us outnumbered.
To be fair, they said to within an inch of your lives, not to the death.
Yeah. It's
Which
fine.
is why I shot the first guy.
I
in the
think that
knee
was
rather than the
before we
forehead.
shot one of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
To be fair, with accuracy like that, if I'd have shot him in the forehead, that would have been it.
Yeah. That would have been a whoops. We now
Let's
have
see
to...
what useless card I can have now.
Anybody looking at the stream on my
It's
hand
a useless card.
in the viewers? Oh dear God. Right. So that was there. So the next chap is having another go at you, Fish. Sorry, who's the one who was in the middle?
I feel a.
Actually, no. He's going to have a go at the
Can
guy
I
with
say
the gun.
how? Can I say how he is having? Ask how he is having.
No,
a go
he's
at
having
me.
a go at the guy with the gun. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I know, but I know you've corrected that, but nevertheless, I think it still stands that 3 of them came in at me. I moved to the right. He's got to go through his friend to get at me.
No, they've had to go up against the door, however, so that's why I'm changing his target to Carter. Would have been awkward.
I think I can see a Grayson of Thundertree moment coming on for poor old Randolph.
God, what, horrendously depressed.
Horrendously depressed and abandoning his primary weapon because it never does any good. I genuinely did that, by the way. I just could not hit. Playing the Ranger in Lost Mines of Phandelver, I just could not hit with my bow. He ended up... It was his highest weapon skill. It was like 3 points higher than his sword skill. He never used it for the whole of the last half of the campaign because he just hit so... Literally never with it that he abandoned it and decided to become a swordsman.
Yeah, he was not having a good time.
Yeah, it was ludicrous. He just couldn't hit a damn thing. Broadside of a barn was... No, that's beyond my skill.
Yep. Right, so a fat bloke with a large belly, but still quite broad-shouldered and spiritually twinned with some kind of bull, is having a go at Carter.
I gave you warning.
So you're going to punch Gordon, right? So you're going to avoid Gordon's attack, are you?
How does one do an attack avoidance?
Athletics
Good
would
start.
do it. Is the standard. Fencing I was allowing because of the footwork it teaches you. But that's basically anything that can be used to shift your soft squishy bits out of the range of their hitty bits.
Okay, so athletics, huh?
Yeah.
Bugger. I at least have good athletics as a starting point.
Okay.
Which means that I'm getting a massive 5 points from my cards, which puts me at 11.
Right. So we're 7. I wish I was pulling my punches. I really, honest to God, do. But I'm not. And I'm miffed about it. Genuinely. So yes, you have handily nipped
I
out
would like
of his
to
way.
object to that. I wish I was pulling my punches, but I'm genuinely not. You're kicking the shit out of me!
Yeah, you. I'm not kicking the shit out of the combat character, am I?
Thankfully.
It would be very...
Otherwise we could be in trouble.
Yeah. Right. Which leaves one guy who actually can't get at anyone, because thanks to you moving apart as much as you did, he can't get at you, Carter, and nor can he get at Randolph.
That was the point.
So
Randolph
he's
may
just
not be
now
very
in
good in a fight, but he's studied this.
Where does that leave him?
That leaves him pretty much in front of the open door.
Please tell me the dwarf has gone through the open door and
The
is now
dwarf has
inside.
gone inside the open door, yes.
At what point am I reaching the door?
You are reaching the door at the end of this round. So
Okay.
he can't really do anything. Doesn't particularly want to go through the door because he doesn't know what he's going to be facing, and you guys are out here.
Yeah. So my action just during that round would have been to tell Arfan. No. Arfan is the guy being pushed through the door.
Yes.
Oh,
Afford is the guy you were
Afford,
chatting
that's it,
to
yeah.
who was inside.
I tell
I'm
Afford.
sorry.
No, that's fine. It's my memory.
That's- I had to
Afford-
check.
I basically tell Afford to hide
Mm-hmm.
as I turn ethereal.
Bloody show-offs. Right. Yeah, he legs it back towards the offices.
Yeah.
So, he can't say and do anything, so the guy is sat there at the door going, "Oh, get you," I think. When I can get to you, I will absolutely have you over a barrel.
Where is the leader
You will
guy?
have to chloroform me first.
That was going to be my next question. Where's the last person?
He has not moved from the barrels
Sure.
where he initially
excellent.
initiated the contact from.
Perfect.
So, yeah, he's still there. So, yeah, Angus the Caber's been shot. Alex has done some good. Gordon's totally missed Carter. Lucas is looking on in absolute disgust, because you guys should clearly have just surrendered at the sheer strength of testosterone that was coming off the lot of them. And Charlie is currently standing in the middle, looking back and forth, looking a bit, I want someone to hit.
Why won't you put yourself at the end of my fist?
No. I want to hit something. It's a fisticuffs.
I'm gonna have to do
Fisticuff.
something different.
Bloody mosquito. Ow. So yeah. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. 5 and unconscious. And there is another guy who is halfway between Lucas, the leader, and you lot, who couldn't get in initially anyway. So he stood back and let the three of them come in with the intent of mashing Randolph into the carpet.
Can you give me an idea of where that guy and the leader are?
Yes, I
Just a
can
quick
indeed.
ping.
So, Lucas is here. That's the leader.
Mm-hmm.
Angus, currently clutching his knee and screaming a lot, is here. Because he was right next to him. And Charlie has come forward this far and then realised that he couldn't actually get at you.
Yeah, it's good. I'm cool with that.
Worries me.
Well, having stepped to my right and then gone further to my right to dodge a blow,
Yeah.
I reckon that I must be about there.
Sounds about right, yeah.
Yeah, which gives me a straight, unobstructed line there.
Yes.
A couple of quick paces and a balestra.
Right. We will get back to that.
But that's not yet, because I have a low initiative.
Alexi. End of the round.
Hello.
What are you doing? You have a cowering dwarf basically pressed up inside the big doors.
But he's not in the doorway.
He's not in the doorway, he's hiding behind the reinforced doors.
I'm flying straight past him through the doorway.
The hell are you?
Bearing in mind I've still got my staff in hand.
Oh good, that'll help. So,
Yeah.
you've got some... Oh, hello. Sorry about this.
The guy that hit Randolph,
Yes.
am I right in assuming he's somewhere... I can't ping it. Where is it?
He is around...
Literally just there, is he?
Yeah, he's around there. Sorry. There is a guy here. Carter is here.
Oh, so there's a guy slap bang in front of the door.
There is a guy, and
Oh, yes.
the guy Carter
About
was
to have
fighting
my
is there.
staff plowed straight into his back.
Yes. Front, to be fair. He was
Oh, he's
looking, but
facing
he's
the door.
basically doing this.
Okay.
He's waiting
How
for an
tall's the door?
opening. How tall's the door? That's normal door size, so that's 2 metres.
2 metres 6 foot.
Daddy, can you get the door? The paper.
Sorry.
It's okay.
I'm just wondering how easy it would be to have the end of my staff down so that I'm kind of drop kicking him with the force of the staff without getting caught on the door.
Right, your
The
best
staff
bet...
is only 6 foot.
Yeah, yes. Your best
Only.
bet... Yes. Your best bets are to approach and try and plant the staff in his midriff. To keep the staff down and go for the knee, although that's a much harder blow. To wait until you get outside the door and then attempt to sweep his leg out from underneath him. Or if you're feeling really flash, you can just come in and basically use a pool cue movement and insert the end of the staff up his nose.
Well, if you want to go really cinematic, you can keep the staff low so that it goes through the door.
Yeah.
As it goes through the door, comes back up, and you hit with that end.
Yeah. That's
Big,
true.
leaping movement with what was the back end of the staff,
Yeah.
ending anywhere from the groin to the chin.
Yeah, that comes up between
What
their
if
legs.
I were to go full bore into his stomach with the staff,
Yep.
end first,
Yep.
with the intention
That's
of
the valid
putting him
tactic.
on the floor and using him to sort of pole vault off?
Ooh, nasty.
That would be a combined action.
Okay.
Pardon me.
I would have thought it would maybe be 2 rounds, 1 round to put him down. So then,
Actually, yes, that would be the end of the last round. Yeah. Yes. 1 round to get the position and put him on the floor. Because if that doesn't come off, then the pole vaulting won't.
Right, okay, that's fine.
But yeah, as you come out, you'll be holding the staff horizontally anyway, because that's pretty much how you use one. She says, drafting in her Joe.
Yes, but that might be the wrong type of stuff fighting. I've seen Robin of Sherwood.
Well, it would be.
I
the
know
end
how
would
it
be
works.
pointing towards him, obviously, because coming through the door, I'm not having it sideways. Otherwise, that's asking for trouble.
No,
That's going to be silly, yeah.
no, you're going to be holding it both hands at either chest or waist height, probably, and nicely braced.
Yeah.
And coming through that. And that's
So,
nice and easy.
what do you need from me to pull that off?
What do I need for you to pull that off? I need for you.
I have a specialisation in Starfight.
I need you to attack with that then.
Okay, which is great. Yes.
I believe so. You're the
Okay.
one with the character sheet. Well, the notes.
Well, that's
anyway.
the notes I've got anyway.
Yeah. So
which
that's
starts me
a
on
base of 8 and allows you to deploy 3 cards.
Yeah.
And he is responding because he's not a total chunk with his athletics, which unfortunately are only good because he's going to be going, what the hell? And attempting to dance to one side. The trouble is he can't go that way because there's a pile of sacks, and he can't really go that way or he's going to trip over the fun and games happening around Carter. Around Randolph even. So he's pretty much got to go backwards. Fish, are you making rules notes?
No,
Just checking.
but I am going tappy-tappity, yeah. So.
Yes. That's all right, I was just checking.
So Starfighting, is that going to be under clubs?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yep. That's...
You say it allows me to throw in 3 cards.
Yep.
Now the question is, do I want to go whole ham and make sure this works?
I don't know, do you?
I think I'm going to.
Yep.
Well, you certainly have a cheering squad for it.
I think
You're
someone's,
well away, yeah. You're well away.
someone's offering their opinion, I think. It's
Yeah.
no, actually
Seems
what
like-
you want to do.
No, no. Come in.
Do you want to go for a trip attack?
My apologies.
That's okay. You don't have to apologise for babies. Last I checked, they don't come with volume controls. Although, God, wouldn't it be lovely if sometimes they did?
Oh yes.
Right.
Run up to about the point there, maybe 18.
Yes.
You removed them earlier than I would have gone for.
Right. Oh my God.
Ah.
Oh.
If you're going to do a thing,
Is that a good or a good or a bad thing?
Well,
I think possibly you inserted the staff at the stomach and it's come out at the throat.
I was trying to put him on the floor, so it's going the wrong way to start with.
so
I think you've pinned him to the ground.
Yeah, but that's better than my kneecap shot by a long way.
that's ruptured something fairly important.
He's
So,
on the ground, but unfortunately you can't do the next part of your manoeuvre because he's on the ground 16 feet away.
okay. So you have done double down. You've done the high damage.
Woo!
Shit. Which
I'm here to test you.
which is going to be 4 points. And let me just double check how many wounds I'd given him, because he was not the hardest one in the group by a long chalk. Well, he's not down, as in unconscious. But he has just basically rocketed back about 6 feet with your staff in his solar plexus, and he's sort of folded over around it. And you heard this almighty great whoomph
Okay.
as all the air he might have breathed in the last 2 days has left his body.
So I'm assuming he's not going to the floor quite as easily because he's literally on the end of the pole.
He is on the end of it. He's basically grabbed the staff for support. That's the only reason he's not on the ground right now.
awkward is it for me to just keep moving forward with him?
Not
Rather
awkward.
than putting him to the floor, because that's going to be the most natural movement.
Not awkward per se, but it is going to be a compared athletics check.
What is athletics?
Athletics is, I believe, on clubs.
Yes. Pretty much all the physical things are on clubs.
Yeah.
That's what I was afraid of.
Yeah.
Or is it a secondary feat, so it's using the same?
No, it's unfortunately it'll be next round.
Oh, okay,
His
right.
action. So let's recall all of those, and let's give a shuffle to that, and then deal myself another 2 cards, and hope to God I get some black cards this time, please.
So we're up to
Hope
the
to God
start
you
of
don't.
round
You're
2.
beating us as it is.
Absolutely dominating without it.
So
Gregory, that's what the
Gregory.
last.
6. And 1 card?
Yep. What perception?
Average.
Okay, so who's got the good perception in this
That's
fight? That would be
Carter
Carter.
and me.
Okay, so Carter can go first. You've got a Scotsman up your nose, basically.
Yep.
You didn't hit him. Sorry, he didn't hit you, but you are now. You've got the stack of sacks behind you, and you've got this pile of empties immediately to your left.
Interesting variation on the ferret song. I've got a Scotsman sticking up my nose.
So this would be a point blank shot, right?
Yes.
Does that mean it's easier than a regular shot?
Probably. Let me just check.
I would have thought that's got to be.
It's an interesting one. Point blank shot is certainly easier than a regular shot under most circumstances. Point blank shot against a moving target, not so much.
Unfortunately.
It may well balance out in a situation like this.
Yeah, it's like, can you get a firm position up against whatever part of his head
We're-
you wish to rest the barrel?
We're overcompensating. We're
Doesn't work in
overcomplicating.
Cyberpunk, so
Yeah, we're overcomplicating. Yeah, it doesn't
It
work
may,
in
it may be
simplified
a moot
rules.
point. Can I? Do I have angle of? Do I have a line of sight on the leader?
Not really, because
Because there's a big Scotsman.
there's a
in the way.
big Scotsman between you and him, and there's also a big Scotsman on the end of a stick. So we're now going to call him Lolly. However, a ranged attack used at less than 1/4 effective range gains a 2-point advantage to that attack. You are at less than 1/4 of your effective pistol range. If you decide to shoot him, you get +2.
Sit down, you flaming galah! Bang!
Right. Oh shit. Oh
There is
well.
I'm not trying to call a shot on this. A, because I haven't got the cards for it.
Oh.
So, I'm starting at great pistols, great marksmanship, which is 8 plus 8 is 16. Let's make it 17 because we can get an extra card on it. In fact, screw it. Let's make it 18 because it's great. I can throw 3 cards in.
Right. This is just, it's like they're all squaring off against different people. It's very peculiar. Jesus. So he's making an athletics in order to try and get out of the way.
Well, I'm hoping if he does survive it, his athletics puts him far enough away that he's not swinging at me again.
His athletics, let's just describe this. This is Gordon, who is described as fat and muscly. Good physique, average athletics. So that's, the technical term is pants. So that's 7 in total. What did you get again?
18.
Is that including your +2?
No, 20 including the +2.
Yeah, thought so. Shit. Yeah. So, you very nearly tripled him. That's quite impressive. So
I was hoping I might have tripled him because that would have been really handy.
So you're doing 5 points of damage to him. 5
Excellent.
wounds to him.
That would be enough to drop a fish.
It would. It would. This guy, however, is prime beef. So it's on the wrong table. So he's got that. And he's got that. Well, he's not down. But he's taken all but one of his wounds. So the only one not getting completely mullered is the guy who's up against Randolph. I don't want you to get worried about that, Fish.
I'm not worried about it. I'm resigned to it and have been pretty much since the first round of combat.
Okay. Right, what is Luricane doing?
So, at this point, since the door is open, or the celly port is open, I can see, like, an altercation is happening outside. As much as I am not one for a fight, Luricane doesn't like being left out. So
he actually has the whole fear of missing out thing.
Yes. So, etherealness, my flight speed is great. Can I get the outside to be Is Lucas dressed better than the rest of them?
He is dressed. Yes, he is dressed better than the other one. He's wearing the others. He's wearing a bowler hat. They're all at best wearing sailors' caps.
Sure. Okay. Can I get to basically stand next to Lucas?
At great flight speed. Yeah, because you can pretty much just go through any obstacle.
Exactly. So, Luricane zooms the length of the warehouse straight through the door, through any intervening barrels and such, to basically hover next to Lucas, puts his arm around him, like turns to look at him, and says, "This has all been a rather significant misunderstanding, hasn't it? You can dismiss your men, and we can have a sensible chat."
Right.
All in very honeyed tones. I'm invoking kindred powers to charm him.
Oh, yes.
Oh, that's mean. I'm funny, but mostly mean.
So,
oh, poor bastard.
kindred powers uses clubs.
It does.
Let me just check. So I start at great. I am going to throw in this 10 to make it 18, and throw this in to make it 22.
Right.
Let me just double check what he resists with. He resists on his courage.
Okay. So he's got. Unfortunately, he's only got an average courage because that's why he's standing at the back.
That's what we like.
Well, that's going to be 10. Yeah, that brings him up to 10. That's not really enough, is it?
No.
It is for us.
So that's a high success for me, I believe.
It is. He blanches because you've just flown through a wall.
He's now my friend.
Yeah. Breath catches in the throat.
I'm smiling beneficently at him.
Oh, that's evil. And he can't quite catch his breath. This is all so sudden. He's vapor locked for this round. He will act on your charm as of next round.
Sure.
So, Fishy. What is Randolph doing?
I think under the circumstances, he will move to here.
Okay.
Where he's got a pallet covering his back,
Okay.
and simply take up a defensive posture.
You're not going to balestra at
Well,
chap in the middle.
no. I was going to go after what's his face, but
Yeah.
Lyricane's taking care of that. So
You were going to go for the chap in front of Lucas, the leader.
no, I was going to go for Lucas,
Oh, you were
but
going to go for
Lyricane's
Lucas,
taking
okay.
care of that.
Okay.
So therefore, as I say, he's going to move to here and just take up a defensive stance
Okay.
and see what they do.
Right. Okie doke. So
The only reason for me to perform an action at this point, although admittedly it's a bloody good reason,
yeah.
would be to clear out 2 cards and let me draw something better than the shit I've got in my hand.
Well, that's the point. I need to draw up.
Well, if you wish to
Yikes.
deploy,
As it is, I'm just going to move into position there and fall over on their action. I've seen what I've got to defend with.
I've seen what they've got.
I can get up to an 11.
Okay.
That's my best defense. I can get to an 11.
Best
Right.
defense. Now that was a good.
So yeah,
I
yeah,
do
it was
apologise.
actually.
I
I've
would
got
be
a copy of
grateful
it
when
over
excluded
there.
here.
Okay.
Best defense would have been a better film if they'd had any faith in the original cast, however, and not decided to shoehorn Eddie Murphy in at the last minute.
Yeah, true. Okay. So you're up against, it's going to be Alex coming for you, who is the short ass. Short, stocky bloke is coming up, flailing towards you.
Again, I will be using fencing for my defense. It will be ineffectual and he'll hit me, but the nature of my defense in this instance is going to be simply using my blade to try and stop him from being able to get in a position to hit me.
Right.
It's not specifically defending against a blow, but instead negating his ability to make one. So keeping him at range by waving a sword in his face, essentially.
Yeah.
Which is pretty much, I mean, we know how this works with the cane. We've seen that's what a large chunk of the many fighting in Kanban years.
It's surprising.
He's doing. He's swinging a sword at this guy to try and stop him, keep him on edge and stop him being able to close enough to make to throw a punch.
Right. So that's his attack. I didn't even have any wrong black cards. I had nothing but reds in my hand. You're sat there going on about how crappy your defense is.
I think this is a shit roll. A shit result. It was enough, but it was still doesn't stop it being shit.
Yeah, he basically comes ploughing towards you, windmilling his fist, totally misses anything that might even have once been attached to you.
I mean, to be fair, he's seen a mate of his has had his kneecap shot off and crippled.
Yep.
He's seen somebody had their face basically blown off, and another guy had a staff put through his stomach.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in fairness, he should be feeling quite good because he's fighting the only person in this fight who hasn't done anything. This is the equivalent. Alex is in the position of the equivalent of picking on the little girl.
Yes.
But after seeing that, wouldn't the fact that you haven't done anything worry him more?
Yep.
No, I think he'd just think, what are these guys doing hanging out with this loser?
Or you've got such capable folks around you. What are your special abilities?
Yeah, I'm beginning to wonder that.
Right. So he misses you completely, swears, and then goes a very funny colour because now he's at the correct angle to see that there's now a fairy with his arm around his boss's shoulder.
And the two of them look quite chummy.
And they look quite chummy.
I'm quite disappointed that it looks like the fight's going to end because next round I could have managed a total of 11. Sorry, no, I had 11 this round, so 12 even. Because it's one higher.
Yep. God almighty. Just, you don't have this bad luck normally.
Yes, I do. I always have this bad luck. The only difference is I don't know till I roll the dice how bad my luck is normally.
Yeah, now you just get...
This system hates
you see
me.
it coming.
Because this system shows me in advance just how shit my luck is. And leaves me not going, okay, let's try this. This might work. Crap. But instead going, well, this won't work.
Yeah.
From a round in advance. It's massively demoralising.
It's a game not really geared to play with people with depression.
Forget, there's nothing to do with depression. It's a game not geared to play with people with really bad luck.
Yeah.
Because it's massively demoralising.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, massively demoralising.
Yeah.
And hello, Mickey
Hey,
Dog.
Mickey.
Hey, Maggie.
Evening, Mackie.
Well, apparently you make bad luck look good. I think it's the cravat.
It's the cravat. Definitely the cravat, yes.
Right.
I need some +3 cravats of luck. If somebody would like to send me some.
Oh, bless him. Right.
There's an item in 4th edition that lets you roll a number of d20s in advance of the game session and store them and use them instead of rolling the dice at a
Okay.
later date. I need a card equivalent of that for this game.
No, we need to stick with cards. You need the up your sleeve mechanic from
Yes,
Deadlands.
I do. I need Deadlands up your sleeve. Well, no, that's not going to help.
Because
Because
you
then-
still got crap cards up his sleeve.
Then I will have this Ace of Hearts that I've got now up my sleeve for the entire session, which is worth 1 point.
Yeah. Right. Okay, so we will move round to Alexi.
Hello.
I'm going to be taking an opposed athletics check, please.
Which means you want clubs, which I haven't got.
It is. Oh dear.
That one of my
Good is 2 cards.
Yes.
Yeah.
The only thing I've got is that.
That's still pretty good,
It's the best I can come out with.
because that's all I can put in, and that's the wrong suit as well.
Yeah, that was the best result I could hope for, and just pray you had nothing.
Okay.
I mean, that's
So
what,
yes.
that's still worth 6,
Yeah.
I think.
Yes.
And
So it's
is
worth
the
7
worth
in
1
total.
then?
Yeah.
They round up, do they? So
No, they
7
round.
in total.
I've
Okay,
been
they
rounding
round
down.
up, so it's 7 in total. Yeah. Sorry, I for a second I glitched over the in total part
Yeah.
of that.
No, it's cool. So yeah, it's basically that's 4 plus 4 versus 7. So what you have done is you have carried on running him backwards. You're not going to do any extra damage, but he's just lost his balance and gone down on his arse. Because going backwards is far harder than going forwards.
Yes, it
Oh,
is.
it is when you bent over a cane.
Yeah.
That I will take your word for that. That is not something I've had much experience of. You've driven an iron bar into his stomach. That guy is not a happy bunny. So yeah, he's basically sat on the ground now, wondering where the rabbits are. Okay. So, I get a card. Seriously? Okay. So that's him. That's him. He's going to notice at this point. So, at the tail end of the round, everybody has now noticed what is going on with Lucas. And over the swearing of the 2 guys who've been shot and the 1 bloke who's gasping out words with what little oxygen remains, a silence falls. And Lucas blinks and says, "Lads, I think there's been a mistake."
We did try to tell you that.
Yeah.
I am so sorry. Look, can
Now
we make
remember,
it up
you're
to
not
you?
doing the accent, but if you throw in the odd "och," then people will remember that he's Scottish.
Och. I'm
And the new.
Yes, I'm sticking with Och either nope.
Yeah.
Almost certainly. We can go and sit down, have a cup of something,
Yeah.
and we can talk like civilized people.
The bloke who never actually got in on any of the fights is looking around. What's going on? What's going? They've shot him. He's shot at us. What's going on? What? And it's just continuing that increasingly high-pitched protestation as Lucas allows you to lead him wherever you wish. I'm assuming you don't wish this conversation to continue on the dock.
No. I suggest that he tells his men to basically pick themselves up and go home, and that he will see them soon.
We can't really go home. That's an awfully long way.
Well, they must have lodgings.
Right. You two, get them seen to. Get them patched up. And I'll see you back at boarding house. They just look utterly baffled. There's ever 404 on the thugs.
Yeah, I just throw some beaming smiles around and sparkle a bit more.
It's ever 404.
Logic not found.
Logic not found. They don't get it. They don't. But they're also hired for their musculature, not for their logical reasoning abilities.
Having now heard him speak, presumably Lucas, the leader, isn't Scottish.
Lucas is.
He was. That's how we knew they were Scottish.
Lucas is very educated Highlands.
Right.
And I take it you're escorting him into the building, which means I get to use the other map after all. Yay! I'd have been miffed if I hadn't.
While everyone seems to have calmed down and moving inside, I'm reloading.
Yeah, I'm gradually becoming
retrieving my the rest of my cane.
Oh right, yeah,
Retrieving
the sheath. Okay.
And that I shall then go and assist erstwhile injured Lord back in.
Yeah. Let's close this place up and we can talk to our new friend.
Okay. By the way, Fish.
Come up good in the morning, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can have a shiner.
By the way, Fishy, I know these things. Oops, that's wrong. Are on the wrong thing. These are not actually supposed to have shadows. I'm just getting that one in now. I've done the export and I was pressed for time when I realised.
What are they?
They're in front of the furnace. They're basically waste clinker and just sort of odds and sods.
They probably should have shadows then. I'd have thought they'd probably be deep enough piles to have shadows.
Yeah.
Another trick, by the way, that works very nicely on maps is not just to have a flat and normal symbols, but actually set up 2 or 3 levels with different degrees of shadow, representing different heights.
Yeah.
So what I started using first with buildings, I usually have a tall buildings level on all of my towns, which has twice the shadow distance of anything else.
Okay.
So when you actually just dot a few tall buildings in amongst the regular ones and you turn the effects on, it looks really good because the shadows do give the impression that those are taller buildings.
Yeah, I can understand that. That actually looks that sounds quite fun, yes. Okay, I think everybody should be able to see that map. Please God tell me
I
you
can see that map, certainly.
Yeah.
Which is pretty damn close to the description I gave you. So, I thought, yes, they can have a fight outside, or they can have a fight inside if they get chased in, not if they get invited.
Yeah, we could have backed in and let them come to us, and so that we could take them on in the doorway, and they could only come at us one at a time. But that's not really the Quigley style.
No. Quigley is very much lead with the sword.
Well, I think at the moment, based on evidence so far, Quigley is very much lead with the chin.
At least you didn't take too much damage. Although, yes, I know you haven't got many hit wounds.
I am not on half hits, because that's not mathematically possible.
Fair.
Quigley is having no joy whatsoever. Randolph. Okay. So, you escort Lucas in. I assume you're sitting him down at one of the tables.
Yes, we're not going into the office area.
Yeah. By the
We'll
way,
just sit.
the large crate is effectively the safe room that
Yeah.
Arvin had locked himself. Afford, sorry, had locked himself into last time.
Did wonder.
Yeah. Well, you try coming up with a.
Where's the sewer entrance?
Beg pardon?
The sewer entrance that I scoped out last time.
That is over there with the
Okay.
trapdoor.
Cool. My eyes aren't what they used to be.
No, it's cool. That's cool.
What did they used to be?
Is
Clear marbles.
Compound.
Oh. No, you're just taking the mickey. Right. So, leading him in, what are you doing with him? You have this guy at your mercy.
I pull up a chair next to him, and bid the others to sit down as well. We just have a few questions. Let me get some refreshments, and I'm sure you'll be happy to answer the questions of my friends here. And I look pointedly at like Randolph and Carter. As I wander back to basically find a bottle of something or some tea.
Awesome tea, actually.
But also,
You're a lot politer than I was going to be.
well, he is charmed, so don't really want to, violence against him is likely to, effectively break things. At least for the rest of the afternoon, evening. He can be our guest.
I wasn't going to use violence. I was just saying you were a lot politer in your what you were doing than I was going to be.
Right.
I can't hit anyone for toffee, so I have to use alternative means of persuasion.
Nor can I. It doesn't stop me trying.
And then I head back to also let Arthur know what's going on.
Okay.
I have to change company, so I am going to AFK for a moment to get rid of him. Because he's only here because he wants me to feed him.
Okay.
So I'm going to take a quick comfort break and feed the cat, and I will be back shortly.
Okie dokie. Right.
Unfortunately, I'm not the sort to lead the interrogation, given that we've got him here on a friendly manner.
Okay.
I'm not the guy to lead that conversation, so I'm just going to be sitting back,
Sure.
reloading the pistol,
Yeah.
and actually I might be reaching into my kit bag and getting the bits and pieces to turn it into a rifle.
Sure. Okay. So I'll come back
Okay.
then with refreshments. Set
Yeah,
everything
you-
down in front of him.
Get tea.
Yes.
Tea is available.
Now, Mr.
My name's Lucas, sir.
I am Lyricane, Margrave Lyricane.
He actually tugs at the forelock.
I smile a little brighter at this. Now, obviously there has been a little bit of a misunderstanding here. Why don't you tell me what you were doing here? Or what you thought you were doing here?
Well, see, he looks a bit puzzled. We were sent, sir, to have a chat with yon lads. He says, nodding at the dwarves. Afford and Arvin are both over now by the office door. They're not back in the inner offices, but they're both lurking around there,
Sure.
Because then they can make a duck into the safe room if need be.
Yeah.
If it all goes sideways. They're not having the best of times.
Who was it that asked you?
Well, that'd be the master, sir.
The master? I am afraid I am not acquainted with that honorific, or the gentleman. Oh, sorry, with the gentleman, with the person bearing that honorific.
Tall, thin chap, looks like Roger Delgado.
Let's not presume, but yeah. Or Anthony Ainley.
Oh yes, my
Or
childhood
any of the-
master. Yes.
Yes, my childhood master as well.
Yeah. It was so much fun. Right.
I just remember that last scene from where he's trapped on the cat planet as the things are collapsing and just him railing at the sky.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. Yes. It was great fun. Okay. That's fantastic stuff.
Or the German equivalents thereof, Robinson.
Children. Right. He looks slightly puzzled again. It's clearly something's going on in the back of his brain, but you have put the whammy on him, but good.
Yeah.
At the moment. Oh.
Obviously, we just want to get all of this straightened out, so we should know who any other relevant persons here are.
Well, that's the lead, sir. He sent us down to to have a word with these two lads and their boss, and to bring him home.
Bring these gentlemen home.
Yeah. Well, our
There's
home, not their home, obviously.
Of course. Does the master go by any other name?
It's the lead. It's the lead
right.
of Loch Shiel.
Sorry, I didn't hear you say lead before. That's why.
No, he sounds like he's reinforcing it into his head.
Yeah. Oh, of course. It's Alistair's father, isn't it? Or was Alistair the other guy?
No, Alistair is indeed the son of the Laird of Loch Shiel.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Yes, dear Alistair's father. Of course. Forgive me.
You know the lad?
Oh yes, we have been acquainted.
He's I don't think he's up to it, you know.
Maybe not, but sometimes we have to see how these things play out. Those matters are trifles that I try not to get involved with, to be honest. So the Laird obviously sent you to have a chat, of course.
Well, he sent us to the smoke to have a chat. But I mean, he's not here, obviously.
Obviously, he wouldn't be resident here at this point. Is Parliament in session?
Ooh, don't know, sir. You know that yes, it is.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So there's that. So what of? Do you happen to know a gentleman? Sorry. Do you happen to know a person by the name of? I give him Thug's name, the fixer's name, because I cannot
Benjamin
remember.
Hawke.
Yes, Benjamin Hawke.
Oh yes, sir. That's, we are at his disposal.
Of course you are. And the smile turns a little bit cold at this point.
Is there a problem, sir?
No.
Do you know where Mr. Hawke is now?
He looks genuinely distressed. And slightly irritated that you're talking to him. But then he turns his gaze back to Lyricane.
I like put my hand under his chin and turn his head back towards me. my friend's apologies, but my friend's question is true. I mean, would you happen to know where we might find Master Hawk at this time?
Not at this time.
Or generally speaking.
I mean, he sends our orders to our boarding house, and that's the information he's given us. I mean,
you know not where he lodges, so.
Oh no, sir, and I don't want to. He's a bloody scary one. That one.
His reputation definitely does precede him.
But he stays bought, as they say.
Loyalty is an admirable quality in one's hirelings.
Bloody expensive, from what I've heard, but that genuinely sounds annoyed. Yay, no stereotype left unpoked.
Yeah, obviously, yes. Sometimes, and I turn to him as genuinely as I can. Sometimes quality. Sometimes they don't quite recognise quality when they see it. Is there anything else that we actually want to know at this point? Because we've got the. They're working for Hawk, who is working for the Laird. So the Laird is one of the parties involved here. Okay, which is the new information.
Yeah. The Laird's son, just as I know you probably remember, but just as a quick reminder, the Laird's son was the one who got a cane in the face, thanks to Carter, while he was attempting to damage the portrait.
The different painting, yeah. Was it a portrait of Harrison?
It was indeed a portrait of Mr. George Harrison.
Yes.
I still can't believe he's called George Harrison.
I can, because I have no shame.
Although I suppose everything in that exhibition was handmade.
Yes, exactly.
So, we've got the Laird's involvement. Do we actually need anything more from this guy?
Don't think so.
Out of character. Is there anything else that we want from him?
Really, I think all we needed was
who he was working for.
Why are they here? That's about all he's going to know, isn't it? Really?
Yeah. Well then.
Pardon me.
Obviously, we thank you very much for having this little chat with us, and we apologise for keeping you away from your associates for so long.
Oh, they'll be fine. We're used to it. I mean, normally we're wandering around mopping up after the little shit.
So you're on retainer?
Oh, yes, sir. On the Master's Gilly, sir.
It takes Lyricane... Lyricane looks a little bit puzzled at this, because this is language... Like, his knowledge of English is good, but at this level of dialect, no, not so much.
No.
But he covers it well, and it's like... I suggest that you go back to your lodgings and rest up. It's probably been... Actually, it's been a long day. Is more for us than for them. And I actually give him a couple of coins.
Thank you, sir.
For your trouble and for any medicines that your men might need.
I think,
as I said,
I think the misunderstanding. Yeah, they may need a doctor.
Yeah,
I think
all a genuine misunderstanding, and we go about our businesses. So
genuine misunderstanding, sir. Yes, sir. Can I give a message to the Mr. Hawk, sir, if I see him again?
Randolph is biting his tongue.
Yeah.
Oh.
Should you see Mr. Hawk, or should you be in contact with Mr. Hawk again, just make it clear that we would rather not have our business interfered with in this manner.
I can understand that, sir, but it is safety of the realm, sir.
Obviously, and that is what we are all here for.
I understand, sir. Big matters is beyond me.
Indeed.
Right.
And so and at this point, I flash him I open my coat a little bit and show him the insignia of the Bavarian diplomatic corps, in case he recognizes. Obviously, I wouldn't be here if it weren't, and then close my coat.
It's a nice badge, sir. Looks like he has no idea.
No idea
Okay.
what it was.
Shows not a flicker.
But it's an official-looking badge, basically.
Yeah. Right. I'll be getting along then, sir. I'll be off then. Is
Please
that
do.
okay?
Oh, of course. We do not wish to keep you any longer than is necessary. You must be worried about the health of your associates.
Absolutely. Yeah. They're gonna need some bandaging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take some time. Maybe it is time for a holiday back north.
It's probably for the best, sir.
And
I was
actually
just thinking they're going to need some bandaging, maybe a vacation.
I slip him a couple more coins. Not enough for a train, but maybe for a decent coach.
Right. Okay. Oh, thank you kindly, sir. He gets up, looking vaguely baffled, and heads out the door, rubbing at the back of his head.
Yeah, I show him to the door, arm around the shoulder, and very. We are the best of friends, and yes, and then close it firmly behind us.
I'll see you again, sir.
I just incline my head.
And yes, hands go into pockets, and he goes head down. Not purposefully, but walking off along the side of the river.
A bit confusedly.
Yes.
Couple of doubting glances back over his shoulder as he goes, I feel.
It was something he feels there was possibly something that he needed to say. Something else he was going to do in that situation, but he's really not 100% clear on what it was.
Once I shut the door behind... if he looks back, it's I give a wave and a cheerio and then close the door. I look back at the dwarves. It's we need to get you to safer lodging, sir.
What did you do to him?
He just talked him round. He's a good talker.
He's a terribly useful fellow to have around.
I told him the error of his ways, and as I say, this was all a misunderstanding.
Yeah.
So, just out of interest, do you have any idea how long it'll take him to forget the error of his ways and go back to them?
We should have the evening.
4, 3.
He'll almost certainly have slept it off by the morning.
We have at least the evening. In terms of safe options, I would suggest the embassy.
Yes, I'm sure you would.
So these people do have access to secrets, you see, which could be of vital import to any number of nations.
I would suggest that now might be an excellent time to get in touch with Inspector Jarrett. It could be useful to have the resources of Scotland Yard at our disposal.
We haven't done anything wrong, says Afford.
No, absolutely, and you need to be protected from those who would do you harm, which is part of the duty of the constabulary. This is not like your home in Bavaria, I believe it was, where I've no doubt the authorities there exist for entirely other purposes, but here
Precious.
they are here. Prussia, that was the one.
Like when you mentioned Bavaria, Luricane's eyebrow raises.
Yeah, I believe that was
Absolutely.
accidental.
Prussia, yes, of course, that was the fella. Those authorities exist to serve the people and to keep them safe and protect them.
Right.
Sort of a serve and protect arrangement.
Yes, to serve and protect. That's a good motto. I shall suggest it to them.
What was the thing about the police when founded by Mr. Peel? Which is they should never remember they are merely normal members of the society empowered to act in a full-time capacity to uphold the law. Hence policing by consent.
Yeah.
Which I gather is like the first 4 pages of the police handbook, which you're required to memorise.
Mm-hmm. My apologies.
Right. That's okay.
I thought the first 4 pages of the police handbook were what rank you've got to get to before you're allowed a bottle of scotch in your filing cabinet.
That's more department than rank.
Yeah,
so, you have Afford-and-Arven. You've got a certain amount of cold iron, which Luricane really doesn't want to be any closer than he is at the moment. You've got the information that they have done a spot of embroidery into a painting.
Everybody needs a hobby.
Thus making the painting one of the most valuable resources in the current great game.
So we need to get these. We need to get these folks to safety, and we need to get the painting secured.
You say we need to get these folks to safety. It occurs to me that what we really need to do is lock down this location. I'm thinking of the good of yourself and your compatriots. I gather there is a quantity of cold iron here which we do not want getting into the hands of common thugs should they return at a later date to investigate the place.
Obviously, there is that.
Yes.
But I have.
We'll need a police presence here. But yes, we will need to get Arnold and whatever.
Afford-and-Arven. Obviously, I defer to you on matters of general security like this.
I apologise. For some reason, Randolph appears to have become a bit pissy. I can only assume.
It's that bruise.
Yeah.
I can only assume that a large brandy followed by the remains of my apple Jim Beam is not helping his mood.
Just tell me you've eaten something, Fish.
Of course I have.
Good.
Had a 6-ounce burger. Chili one, rather nice actually.
Oh, I hate you. Right.
With cheese.
You're just rubbing it in
Well,
now.
via life.
Yeah, okay. Okay. So the situation is that you know that an item exists of great value. You suspect that Hawk has Chekhov. Hawk is definitely attempting to pretty much kill everybody who's ever been involved in this with any degree of knowledge.
Oh, rats! That's what we didn't get confirmed. Although whether or not he knows if Lucas knew that Hawk had Chekhov, but I'm guessing he probably wouldn't know that kind of information.
I don't think he'd have been told. No.
Yeah.
You know that a gang of toughs working for the Laird of Lochshiel is involved. And from your connections, when you first encountered the dishonourable Alistair, you know that the Laird of Lochshiel is affiliated with the Steam Lords.
Right, he is.
Yes.
That is a known thing.
I am guessing that Lochshiel is attempting to get hold of the plans on behalf of the Steam Lords. It's the sort of thing they'd want. And it's exactly the sort of thing that we must avoid happening at all costs.
Agreed.
Well, I say all costs. There are some costs that might actually be high enough that they're functionally identical.
We should do our best to. We shall endeavour to do our best to ensure that that is not a state of affairs that occurs. Yes,
So you're going to keep us safe. You're going to keep us safe from Scotsmen, and you're going to keep us safe from the Prussians.
That's the plan.
Yeah. Well, we're going to keep you safe from everybody, given a choice.
Just wanted it to be specific. This is Avod, who's
Well,
asking.
Specific, not a great idea, because if we specifically protect you from Scotsmen and Prussians, Hawk, for example, you'll notice neither a Scotsman nor a Prussian. And one of the more dangerous men in London right now. So
He's scary, from what I've heard.
So maybe we'd like to protect you from people like him as well. That might involve perhaps horse guards, I'm not sure.
Horse guards.
The establishment, not the thing.
I was going to say, I didn't think cavalry would be particularly effective.
Well, not around here at any rate.
I'm afraid we haven't invented the SAS yet. Although, this setting, maybe we have. We've got airships, haven't we? The Special Airship Service, that's them.
SASS, yes. SAS detected, in fact.
That's detected.
And they are very much security
alerted.
alerted.
Well, you did leave that one kind of dangling. What was I going to do?
Must
Ignore
catch
it?
up. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
But actually, it's not inconceivable that there is something like the SBS for aboard like the dreadnoughts and such.
It would be Marines, essentially.
Yeah.
It'd just be flying Marines.
And we're back on
flying
King of the
Marines
Rocket
in the
Men.
airships and not flying Marines on board.
Yeah. Right. Why did I bother with this map? You didn't
I have
have
no
a
idea.
fight in it. It looks good,
You
though.
bothered with this map because it gives you something to show on screen to take up that empty space.
Yep. It does indeed.
And also because it gives you practice with your mapping tool, which is always a good thing, no matter what mapping tool you happen to use.
Yep.
Map it a lot, not just when you need to, because that way you will get
I
better.
know.
And at least we didn't venture into a third location.
Yeah. We didn't decide to fight them somehow on board one of the ships docked nearby.
Please note there were no ships docked immediately outside. There's a reason for this. I don't trust you. Right.
We could have led them
And
on
why
a
not?
we could have led them on a merry chase to the shipyard.
Thanks. I'm going to be waking up in cold sweats now, thinking of all the possible options. Okay, so what is the practical plan? The sun was already dipping by the time you encountered Lucas and his crew. So we're getting on towards it being properly dark.
So, how best to alert the constabulary? Or get a message to Inspector Jarrett?
I can tell you for nothing, walking up to the first bobby you see and saying, hello, I've got two people who are crucial to the survival of the British Empire.
I was thinking that our better plan might actually be to decamp en masse to New Scotland Yard.
Subtle.
Yeah.
Understated. I like it.
It seems the most logical place to find Jarrett.
What, Jarrett of the Yard?
Yes, indeed.
That's the point. Is it New Scotland Yard or is it just Scotland Yard?
I honestly don't know if it's New Scotland Yard or Scotland Yard at this point.
But is it going to be wise taking these dwarves anywhere in the dark?
Well, we'll get a cab as soon as we
Not
can.
necessarily any less wise than leaving them here.
I'm not staying here on my own. Says
No,
Alvin.
I don't think
No
I
one
don't
is
think any of us.
suggesting you should.
I don't think any of us are going to suggest that you are out of our sight or appropriate authority. The sight of the protection of an appropriate authority.
Yep. Right. Good Lord. So, Great Scotland Yard then. Is where you're going. 1890 it moved to New Scotland Yard. It's always worth knowing. So yes.
So yeah, retcon. That's what he will have said,
Yes,
obviously.
Scotland Yard.
Because he won't have referenced a building that doesn't yet exist. Not without taking SAN loss.
Okay. So, you can indeed head out, and once you're out of the Docklands area, or the immediate vicinity of the docks, you can indeed hail a cab. They're not as common as they are in the main streets, but you can get one. No, coincidentally, it is not the gentleman who got you here.
Oh no. Is it an annoying and slightly inappropriate Chinaman?
Don't. Oh,
Sorry.
God.
Query.
Don't. Yo.
How far away is the museum on foot?
Now you're asking.
Probably
And
about
is
the
it
same
going to be
distance that it is when not on foot, but it'll take you longer.
Okay, how far away time-wise?
Right,
Sorry.
hang on. You don't ask easy questions, do you?
Nope.
It's at least a half-hour walk.
This, girls, is why I don't like running games in the real world.
I can cope
Is
with
it currently open, and how long is it going to be open for?
It was open for the party in the evening. You would guess, since it's now well after 6 o'clock, that no, it isn't.
But it is going to be guarded if someone went there.
Oh, yes. Especially since multiple bodies were found there.
Yep.
Including one with diplomatic immunity.
You know, the lack of
Okay,
telecommunications, mobile or otherwise, is a real hampering factor in this.
Do we know if the exhibit was being stored at the museum or had it been moved out? Because there was talk about that previously, wasn't there?
Yeah, we don't know that.
Yeah.
We have no idea.
You don't know.
Right.
Which
okay.
is one of the reasons why we were going to, in theory, try and go back to the museum to find out.
Yep.
For all we know, Adelaide Harrison and the painting are now chained up next to one another in a dingy basement somewhere, while Hawk laughs at us like a drain.
That is, of course, somebody who would probably know.
But since we lack telecommunications capabilities, we can't really ask.
Unless we go to Great Scotland Yard first,
Great
and
Scotland
then
Yard.
call upon
Well, I
the
was-
Harrisons.
When we get to Great Scotland Yard, I was going to request Inspector Jarrett and also that a message be sent to Lord Fullenham,
Okie dokie.
because I feel these people need to know what's
Right.
going on.
Actually
be involved.
spreading information instead of
Good lord.
hoarding it. Like,
What, the totally patriotic member of the peerage actually getting in touch with the government? Yeah, unheard of.
I think just member of the peerage doing something decent.
Yeah.
No, they do something decent all the time. They've made several attempts to block Brexit. They failed, but they tried.
True. Right. Oh boy. That's where you're going. I predict they will do this, this, and this because they are PCs. We're going to go and talk to the government. Okay.
Options A, B, C, and the one they choose.
Yep.
So A, B, C, and Z.
Yeah, that's
Actually-
about right.
Yeah. To be fair, I actually had this set up as what you might do this morning, but never mind. So, New Scotland Yard. Sorry, you got me doing it now. Great Scotland Yard.
Great Scotland Yard.
Host
Great
interview.
Scotland Yard, Watson!
And you can all pile out of the cab, and somebody's got to pay the cabbie.
I'll pay the
Money bags
cabbie.
over
It's
there.
the only thing that Randolph is
That
any
is his
use
special
for,
ability. He
is
is the
just
rich guy.
paying people.
Just out of curiosity, there were 6 of us in that cab?
Yep. Yeah, but 2 only little.
Yes.
Yeah, but still, those
We-
cabs are not very big.
We'll have had to pick a larger one, yes. They do come in different sizes.
They do come in different sizes, indeed.
Yes. Yeah, I don't think it will have been a Hanson, because those are
No.
the diggy ones.
They're the 2-seat. They're the 2-wheeler. You'd have actually had.
That's
a
what I was
larger-
thinking of, and I was thinking, what?
No, you would have been in one of the larger ones, one of the 4-wheeled.
As I don't know my history very well.
4-wheeled with 2 horses.
So a proper carriage.
Basically. It's the equivalent of hiring a 4x4. Extra boot space.
I probably should know the names of such cabs, because I'm sure such carriages, because I'm sure they were referenced in Holmes a few times.
Oh, they were, yeah.
It's been too long since I've read or listened.
Yeah. I was going to.
And you also have to kind of figure it from context in that, because, of course, Conan Doyle was writing on the assumption people would know what he was talking about.
Yeah. Yes, I had to look up dog cart at one point, because that completely confused me. So, yeah, you're looking at a half-hour walk from the Docklands to the British Museum. It is probably shut, so you attend Great Scotland Yard. It's getting on for the evening. On the other hand, there are live murder investigations going on.
Of which this is a part.
Yes. So, you can approach the desk.
Hello. We need to consult with Inspector Jarrett regarding one of his current cases. We have brought him a couple of witnesses and some further information, and there are some matters to which he will need to attend. I'd also like a message sent to Lord Fullenham, if that can be arranged, informing him that Sir Randolph Quigley is here and would like to discuss with him the Chekhov incident.
You know the expression that Lucas had in his face after Lyricane pulled the charm?
I tell you what, just get us Jarrett and we'll go from there.
That's roughly the expression the desk sergeant has on his face as you drop this bomb on him. He then also leans over the desk and looks down at Avad and Arven, who have taken up simultaneous arms folded poses and are slightly hiding behind Carter. Putting him between them and the door.
These two gentlemen are at risk and need to be protected. There has been one kidnapping attempt on them already today. We'd like to ensure that there isn't a second one.
Sir Randolph Quigley, you say?
That's correct, yes.
Inspector Jarrett, you say?
That's correct, yes. He'll know who I am.
Right. He calls over a younger man and speaks sotto voce to him. The other one, his eyes sort of stand out with this. What? Oh, I don't know. He's not going to like it. I don't care. Go and get him. Alright. The younger man bustles off behind the desk and through a door at the back.
Is there somewhere we can wait?
You take a seat there, sir. There are some uncomfortable wooden chairs.
Is there somewhere else we can wait?
Make me... Is there a showy git skill?
Not really, no. Unless Exchequer counts.
Exchequer will count.
Okay. So, Exchequer, which is on spades, because otherwise I might have some.
Actually, Fish, it's going to be charisma.
No, it really isn't going to be charisma. If anything, it would be leadership.
Oh, you can give that a go if you want.
Because charisma is being nice to people.
Ah.
And I am... This was not... I mean,
Yes.
running back over what I just said, I was not being nice to anybody.
If you want to take it on leadership, go ahead.
I mean, I'm average at leadership, but it makes more sense.
Yes, you have just trampled all
So,
over
yeah,
this,
right,
guys.
okay, Ace of Hearts. There you go, I did it.
See, you got to use it.
You got to use the cards, Fish. You don't put yourself down.
That's one of the things that I am very bad at with this game. This is a game which encourages you to choose your actions based on what card you've got, and I don't do that. I choose my actions based on my character's personality, and they never match the cards.
Yeah. There is a variant, which I didn't use, which does include dice. instead of cards.
I think you'd lose something from the system
That's
if you use
partly
dice
why
instead of cards.
I
It's so
didn't.
built around this card system. I mean,
I
don't get me wrong. I like this system. It's interesting, it's entertaining, and
Yeah.
it has its own flavour, which is quite cool. It just doesn't suit me.
It doesn't like you very much.
It really doesn't like me, no.
I think we can safely say. Right. Okie dokie, Mr. Tracy. So, yes, you did indeed trample all over this guy's self-worth. He's decided that you are rich and a noble, and therefore way above his pay grade.
All of which is true.
All of which is
All
true.
of which is very true.
So he opens up the desk, and instead of making you go through the public entrance, he takes you out through the back door to what's clearly the officers. The officers' lounge, I suppose. The officers' break room. There are a couple of policemen in shirt sleeves with their tunics hung over the backs of chairs, who look really annoyed when you walk in. And the guy you're with just goes,
I will look at them.
Sorry,
Nothing
sir.
more. I will just look at them.
okay.
If there's any response, I might raise an eyebrow. Very glad that we were allowed to come in here, because I don't know how diplomatic it would have been at Great Scotland Yard for me to place Alexei and Carter on guard outside the door, which would have been my next move if we'd had to stay where we were.
Fair enough. Okay, so there's an exchange of glances, and complaints die unspoken as extremely rich bloke walks in. With a very ragtag little
Two rich
selection.
blokes, to be honest.
Two rich blokes, to
Don't
be
forget
honest.
Lyricane.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lyricane by this point has basically spruced himself up and is using a touch of
Uh-huh.
glamour to make sure that he looks
There's
the
a
part,
rich
so-
bloke and a sparkly rich bloke.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's kind of like rich bloke plus.
Sparkly vampire. Right.
Please, do not associate me with those unsavoury folks.
Yep. That makes it sound like you've tried eating them. I'm not even going there. Okay, vampires on chips.
Faye.
It's quite interesting that unsavoury means exactly the opposite of sweet.
Yes, yes, it does. It's up there with flammable and inflammable. Okay. So you can make yourselves, if not comfortable, then at least more comfortable than you were. There is a fire going, and you can sit on the seats, which actually have cushions.
Lovely.
It's rather better for your bottoms than the hard carriage seat you've been bouncing up and down on for the last 20 minutes.
Well,
I've got a numb bum.
it's been a bit of a long day, really, hasn't it?
An eventful one, certainly.
Hmm.
You sure we're going to be safe here?
Well, we'll keep you as safe as we can for the moment, and after we speak to Jarrett, we'll arrange something better.
Right. Okay. I still don't know what OBS is playing at. It's dropping frames left, right and centre. Okay. So,
You know he's not going to be pleased to see you quickly.
Well, yes, obviously.
right, you're there.
I'm getting used to that. It seems in the last few days no one's been pleased to see me.
Everybody thinks you're
Actually,
somebody
if
else.
I'm honest, it seems like no one's been pleased to see me for the last few years, ever since that business. Anyway,
I must now be woe is me. Right.
I'm sure that is
yeah, it's not
entirely
a
not.
worries me type. It's,
I'm sure that
it's
is
just
not.
the wrong man in the wrong place.
I'm sure that is entirely not your fault, Sir Randolph.
Right.
Well, no.
So, you can indeed, after about 15 minutes wait, you get the feeling you're being made to wait. As a point being made. And bustling into the senior officers' lounge comes the rolled-up sleeved figure of Inspector Jarrett. Sir Randolph?
Ah, Inspector. Still looking into the Chekhov disappearance?
Absolutely. Do you have further information on that, sir?
Oh, do we have some information for you?
I chuckle slightly.
G'day.
Firstly, allow me to introduce you to... I have forgotten their names. Randolph this time will actually rattle them off perfectly in a Welsh accent.
Afternoon.
These gentlemen came from Prussia with Mr. Chekhov. They are associates of his. They are involved in his assorted dealings and have a much better idea of what is going on at the moment and why he has disappeared than the rest of us do. Also, they have been the intended victims of a kidnapping attempt earlier this afternoon, which fortunately my companions were able to circumvent. We believe that the man behind this was one Benjamin Hawke, an agent of sorts, currently working for, we're not entirely sure who, but we do know...
Whoa, let me stop you there.
Schill has been involved in this most recent incident.
He holds up one hand and gesticulates at the other police officers in the lounge who are gawping, frankly. Out.
Well, you did ask.
I should look around to just double check he's talking to the officers and not us.
Yeah.
Not us, yeah.
Right. So you're coming in and you're throwing accusations against British nobility.
Well, I just mentioned that in passing at the end. That wasn't the important part.
Right. So...
There's really nothing you can do about Lockshill without more evidence. Leave that to me. I'll worry about it. As for everything else, we would certainly like for these gentlemen to be placed in protective custody because we feel that there will be another attempt on them. And it would be unfortunate if they were to be kidnapped, killed, or in any other way rendered unable to assist you with your investigation. Like, for example, Mr. Ewan Davies of the Druids, who would have been able to assist you with your investigation had you A, known of his existence in the first place, and B, had he not been killed by Hawke earlier today. An incident, unfortunately, we were unable to prevent.
You were involved in that conflagration, were you, sir?
We were there. Involved might be too strong a term.
Right, sir. And you have proof that Mr. Hawke was involved in this situation?
Absolutely not.
You're not an eyewitness.
We do. I saw him.
That doesn't count as proof. This gentleman wants something other than our word. And that we cannot provide him.
You will not accept the word, the sworn affidavit of a Bavarian diplomat?
I very much doubt that he will. The courts probably would, however.
Not to put too fine a point on it, sir, no. And I have a horrible feeling I was playing him Northern before.
Well,
I think I was, yeah. I think he was being Northern. Because somehow this attitude just works as a Northerner. He's
to
taking...
be perfectly honest, Lurricane, if he were willing to take our word for any of this, then I would think far less of him.
If I was to interject, is the inspector likely to respond to me?
I don't know. Give it a go, see what happens.
You're aware of Mr. Hawke's presence in the city, then?
He turns to you and looks you up and down like he recently scraped you off his shoe.
That's what I thought he'd do.
Well, we are aware that an agent of foreign powers may be operating in this city. We believe that one Benjamin Hawke may be a person of interest in that regard.
If you're thinking of an agent of foreign powers, you've got entirely the wrong person. That's not Hawke. Hawke's a free agent. No, Graf Friedrich Klein, that's the agent of foreign powers. We met him last night.
You've been meeting with agents of foreign powers on
Yes,
British soil?
yes. It was an interesting little chat. He was able to reveal to us that he was here attempting to remove Chekhov back to Prussia, but unfortunately for him, and rather fortunately for us, Chekhov disappeared before he could do it.
You're claiming that this... He pulls out a notebook.
I'm claiming that the Prussians wanted to take back the man who escaped from Prussia, yes. No, that comes as a huge shock to everybody.
He pulls out his notebook and starts flicking back and forth. Your contestation, then, is that you managed to dissuade a Prussian agent from continuing this investigation.
Gosh, no. I've no doubt he's out there still trying to find Chekhov at this very moment. In fact, Hawk is quite possibly working for him, as far as we know. What I'm saying is that his original plan was rather messed up by Chekhov's disappearance. And that Hawk, who may well be working for him at the current time, is a free agent.
Not
agent of a foreign power.
Is Lord Randolph deliberately obfuscating that, given what we were told earlier?
Not necessarily.
Bit potato, huh?
Yeah.
Right. Well, it sounds to me like you've done your civic duty, and we've been looking for these two gentlemen.
Yes, I'm sure you have.
Fantastic.
So, I would like to hand this over to someone in authority. I wonder if you can read
Thank
that.
you. Yes, I can take those into my custody.
Not you.
I think you'll find I have all the authority you need.
I think you'll find you're very wrong. I was thinking more of a representative of Her Majesty's government.
I am a sworn officer of Her Majesty's Constabulary in a detective capability.
Precisely. You are a fine public servant with no doubt an excellent record of the detection of crime within London. Possibly you even travel to other parts of the United Kingdom. However, this is an international affair and a matter of rather greater import which is above your head. So, you will be answering to someone. It may be Lord Fullenham or it may be somebody else. I don't know. But I would like to personally hand this matter over to whomever it is that you are answering to.
Right, make me a perception check, please.
Oh, God, that's not going to work.
Oh, we all make a perception check
yeah.
or just Bishop?
You're all in the room, so you may as well.
Perception. Diamond.
We just figured out what Randolph's for. Randolph is a human steamroller.
There you go, there's my perception.
Right, I'm not even going to bother throwing it. Yeah, I will. I'll throw a card at this because I want to get rid of it. It's shit.
Is good. Okay.
I'll throw that 2 in there for 1 point because that's all I can get rid of at the moment.
Right, I will throw that down.
I'll throw a 9 in for 15.
And that because it's only ever going to be worth a point. 6, 17, 18.
Right. Okay.
Ooh.
I think. Hang on. No, it's more than that.
Did I just detect everybody wanting to ditch off cards there?
Well, I certainly
No.
did.
Yeah.
No, I played a good card that I wanted to know what.
I was a little
Okay.
disappointed I couldn't teach
21.
more.
Yeah. Okay, what's the problem
The
with
ace is
having...
14, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, 21.
Do you remember Lie to Me? The TV programme?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
Excellent program, a lot of fun, based on total twaddle.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Yes, took ideas and ran with them all the way
Well,
away.
it took ideas and presented them exactly as presented by the person who originally came up with those ideas, but he was, in fact, completely and utterly debunked at a later date.
Yeah.
He could do it. Don't get me wrong.
It
The
wasn't
guy that
duplicable,
the
was
series
it?
is based on could do it, but his techniques were nonsense. It was an inherent talent he had. He couldn't teach it. Not
Yeah.
one person who tried to teach it to ever succeeded. Which is a shame, because otherwise it would have been really cool.
Yeah, it would have been.
Terribly useful.
Yes. Okay,
Bloody hellfire.
everybody, bar Randolph, Sorry.
Randolph can't see anything from up here on his high horse.
No.
Yeah.
No, this is it. You've got that weird angle of attack looking down your
Yeah.
nose at someone slightly taller than you. Everybody else sees him flinch at the name Lord Fullenham.
So I'm guessing he is reporting to Lord Fullenham then.
To the extent that his cheeks actually flush a little. There is much to be read into this. The 21 gives you that this is anger at the invocation of the name. Whatever the interaction whatever the interaction has been, you're guessing it wasn't nice.
So, Lord Fullerman, I can't say it. That's
Lord Fullenham.
Lord Fullerman.
not a friend of yours.
He straightens his back. The gentleman has legitimate concerns regarding national security. He expressed those concerns in a full and frank manner.
So he shouted at you.
You know that
Look.
off the bottom of his shoe expression?
Look, I don't care if you go to Fullenham or directly to His Highness. I just want to hand this over to somebody that I know is in a position to deal with it.
He pulls a page from his notebook, scribbles a note down, and then sticks his head out of the door, yells a name, and you hear muttered instructions.
Do we hear the instructions that are muttered?
Instructions.
Move up. Yeah. Double frappuccino.
Did we make out the name he yelled?
Colin.
It's just another copper.
Yep,
Yeah.
another copper.
Yeah, fair enough.
Right.
Arnold Norbert other copper.
Yep. I think the best thing to do is for you all to give me your statements. That shouldn't take much more than a couple of hours each.
Absolutely. Seems very reasonable.
And in the meantime, these two young gentlemen will go into protective custody.
I would like you to tell us what measures you're going to be taking to protect them
Well,
before we hand them over to your custody.
they will be taken to cells. They will be provided with blankets. And
Cells.
they will be...
Cells.
Well, yes, sir.
No.
I don't think we're going to
They're
do
not
it.
prisoners.
No.
They're not
Absolutely.
going to cells.
They are persons of interest in a matter of national security.
Yes, indeed. They're persons of
safety, not
interest
locking
with an
up.
interest in assisting us. Let's not make their interests run to the other side by treating them even worse than the Prussians have.
I'm sure that they will experience hospitality, as is perfectly reasonable to their station.
Arvan, Avod, would you like to go to cells?
We had one. You took us out of there.
And so is that a yes, we're fine with cells?
I have
I'm sure you would
books
like-
there.
I'm sure you would like accommodations that are slightly more comfortable than a cell.
Yes. Please. And that lock. And that have proper doors and lots of doors.
Full security can be arranged.
The following will be said leaning towards Arvan and Avod,
Uh-huh.
and much quieter, but still not actually quiet enough that Jarrett won't be able to hear it.
Okay.
He's not really good at sneaky,
No.
isn't our Randolph? And before you cause trouble for me again, fellas, would you really like to just go back and take your chances with Hawk?
I will lean in at this point and say to them. So I pitch this so that Sir Randolph can hear. You can claim asylum from the Bavarian government at this point,
Huh.
and the full protection of the Bavarian embassy can be at your disposal.
Would that mean we wouldn't need to talk to this man? Sorry, I've got the northern accent and it won't go away now.
No.
this mean
look
we
at you a
would?
couple of times, and then you'll sound more like a dwarf.
I would strongly
Murder.
suggest that cooperation with the British forces is in all of our best interests. However, it can ensure that you do not end up locked in cells.
They duck off a pace away from all of you, and you hear muttered in German, which you're only catching the odd word of.
Yeah.
But they are definitely discussing their potential futures.
It is really, really annoying that I have a lousy perception.
Yeah. If I recall correctly, nobody knows you speak German.
Nobody knows I speak German, French, Welsh, ancient Greek, or Latin.
I know that he speaks German.
Yeah.
Actually, yes, you do. That's right. I did reveal that.
Yes. Okay, well they are close
In
enough.
general, he likes to play the the ignorant toff
Yeah.
who's never bothered to learn anything.
Yep.
But has
You-
actually
you-
bothered to learn some things.
You have the
Yeah.
Oxbridge education, but you
Yeah,
you
his joint highest ability is education. Yeah,
Yeah.
but he doesn't like to show it off. Really. Doesn't want to blow his own trumpet.
Is it poor perception or average perception you've got for Randolph?
I've only got average. It's just with my cards that might just as well be abysmal if there is such.
Yeah, I have good perception if it's relevant.
Okay.
Do I?
Basically, they're trying to keep the conversation away from Lyricane, but they're not trying to. They're a little
Because
bit
they
closer
don't
to
know that
Randolph.
I
They
speak
don't know that you
German.
speak German, so they're not trying to keep it away from Randolph. So I'm not going to ask for card draws because just the straight stats are fine.
Okay.
You both get snatches of the conversation so you can get the gist. Randolph, being slightly closer, can get. But Chekhov didn't trust anyone, but. And then you lose track of the conversation.
So I didn't hear the name.
You didn't hear the name.
How annoying.
But we'll be safer there. I know. But what if we need to get out? And it goes back and forth in that vein. The one who was seen with the Naiad, seems to be arguing in favour of taking Lyricane up on his offer. Afford seems to be wavering. What assurances do we have you'll keep us safe and we don't want to go in cells? We definitely don't want to go in cells.
Right,
assure
well, that
you
was the only question I asked you. You could have just said that last time.
I can assure you that you will be provided with appropriate rooms at the embassy.
And what if we decide not to stay at the embassy any longer than we have to?
The matter of
Obviously,
your
Mr. Assange, you can leave whenever you like.
the matter of your departure is obviously a matter for discussion. Obviously, we are not holding you prisoner.
Well, absolutely not. These people are currently in the hands of the British Constabulary. Says Jarrett, feeling he's being rather ignored in this
Actually,
conversation.
at the moment, Inspector, they're in my custody. I haven't yet handed them over to you. Now, obviously, you can take them from me, but that might cause a little bit of an incident.
I could have you arrested for interfering with police business.
That's the incident I was thinking of.
And I say to the dwarf in German, you do not have much time. A decision will be needed. A decision is needed now, I'm afraid.
They exchange another couple of hurried words.
Might I suggest, Inspector, that a more reasonable arrangement would be a nice, secure hotel room under police guard? Somewhere that can be watched with reliable staff, and a 24-hour presence by your good selves. Not you personally, obviously.
He looks like he's considering this. We
If
do
need
have facilities.
If need be, I suppose the Capelvale dynasty can front the bill.
That would, I think, smooth the way. Sir Randolph?
Do you wish? I say to the dwarf, again in German. Do you wish to be guests of the Bavarian government as closer kinsmen?
Arvin takes a deep breath, and you get the feeling he's about to start going, yeah.
How close is the kinship between Bavaria and Prussia? Not said to anyone, just to the room, you know.
I smile. Negligible as any student of international relations would know.
Yet, share a common language.
Catfight.
You share a common language with many of the nations of across the ocean as well.
Yes, that's because we gave it to them.
Yes, we came with flags. You got the flag. Right. Afford looks slightly annoyed at all of you. We need some more time to make a proper decision, but a secure hotel room would be lovely, with real beds. And
very well.
Thanks for the offer, but I don't think we can make a decision tonight. But
Should you decide at a later date that you would rather take your chances with the Bavarians, then obviously I completely understand. In the meantime, I will finance this stay at a hotel room if Mr. Jarrett or Inspector Jarrett can organise your protection while there, until such time as you are able to meet with a representative of our government. I am at a slight disadvantage at the current time, as I'm sure you will understand, in that Luricane here is a representative of his government, whereas I am not. So
I turn back.
I really need to hand this over to somebody in a better position.
That is perfectly reasonable. Just my offer stands, sir. And I turn to Sir Randolph and address him and Inspector Jarrett. Given the circumstances, I would not wish to see you put out, Sir Randolph, so I would be quite happy to cover half the costs. We can go into this as a joint venture.
Oh, that seems very reasonable.
Well,
we are all in this together, are we not?
We do have suites kept for diplomatic protection.
Excellent.
We could make use of those, and if you're willing to provide the finance...
Seems a perfect situation. Diplomatic protection seems to be entirely the situation here.
Right.
And I show at this point I show Inspector Jarrett my diplomatic credentials, just so that you have appropriate proof that I am who I say I am, and that I have the necessity to back this up. You can tell Lord Fullingham or whoever you might be reporting to that yes, the Bavarian government does have an interest in this.
So, might I offer my services to our friends here for close protection?
Oh yeah, he's good. Pipes up often. Yes, I have your details, don't I, sir? Australian. Yes. Yes, I have your particulars. He
Totally out of character. Randolph is, of course, operating on the probably erroneous assumption that Carter must be descended from a guard.
Sorry, Carter
It's never occurred to him otherwise.
From a guard? As distinct from the alternative.
That's what I thought he said, yes.
Yep.
There's only two types, aren't there? I mean, there's those who descended from convicts and those who descended from guards. Can't be descended from convicts, obviously. He's a decent fellow.
Gotta love the confirmation bias going on there.
Absolutely.
Obviously. Observational phrenology is an aristocratic pastime.
Indeed, yes.
Oh God! Oh dear, oh Lord! It was acceptable in the 1850s.
The medical disposition towards criminality has yet to be disproved in this era.
He has just gunned people down. He shot
Yes, but in a
Scotsmen.
good cause.
Yeah,
And they're Scotsmen. We've all shot Scotsmen.
marksmanship befitting a guard.
Yeah, fair enough.
Or at least all of our ancestors have shot
Yeah.
I was going to say, yeah, that makes for some interesting
And I
paragraphs.
specifically didn't shoot to kill.
True.
No,
There you go.
my associates have seduced Scotsmen.
Juice, shoot, potato. Yeah,
Potato.
okay. Right. He indicates he will set guards on this room until they can arrange transport for the brothers to be taken to their suite. In which one was it? It's going to be in the Hilton, isn't it? I
And
believe.
why not?
Probably whatever the closest to
Yeah.
Great Scotland Yard is.
Yeah, it's the nearest nice hotel.
Yeah.
So, our tea is brought
Excellent. Tea. Perfect.
because there are issues and there is friction to be assuaged, and he wants you to stay put. So, tea.
He wants to stay put so he can summon the bad guys that he's working with to ambush us.
He's clearly a wrong un, yes.
A wrong un that is going to bring a bunch of goons into the middle of Great Scotland Yard.
Yeah.
Next session, us versus the entirety of Scotland Yard and a steam-powered mech.
Shit. Where did you get my
Oh, no.
notes?
You should have kept them on Dropbox.
Great Scotland Yard turns into a mech.
Yes!
Yes!
And I'll make
my
the
word.
head.
Oh no! Inspector Jared is a headmaster for.
Oh no! Right. After about half an hour or so, and judging by the sound of the footsteps, which are periodically up and down directly outside the door, you're assuming that some large gentlemen in big boots are
See, I told you.
definitely guarding the door. And after, it's about half hour after that. The tea's not bad. It's not perfect, but it's not bad. And thank you. A little while later, the brothers are sat very nervously, simultaneously sipping tea. One of them takes it black, the other one takes it with roughly twice as much milk as he should. Funny people. And then you hear footsteps approaching. And Inspector Jarrett attempts to enter the room, but the door is flung open by a tall aristocratic man with iron grey hair, carrying a top hat and wearing an opera cloak.
I should
G'day.
rise.
As do I.
I'm specifically saying g'day before I stand up.
Yeah,
Then I'm standing up.
yeah, I'm a colonial. Deal with
make the
it.
Absolutely.
Right.
Setting expectations right from the start.
I stand up and bow appropriately.
Yes, I like that everyone's just responding to the clothes. Anyone with connections, however?
Yes.
Yes.
Sort of.
I'm good at connections.
Okay.
I have great connections.
I have average
I'm
connections,
more connected
Okay,
than you.
average is going to need a check.
which comes off
So spades.
Yep.
So is good not going to need to check? Is the implication there?
Good will give you the basic information straight off. If you want any further
I
detail.
will throw a 6 of spades in there and see
Okay.
if it gets me any more.
Right.
Yeah, I'll throw some cards in a second.
Okay.
But a card, because
Alexi's there going, I don't do connections.
I'm just looking
Can I
to
hit
see
something?
if-
I haven't even stood up yet.
okay, I don't seem to use spades
What
for
did you
much
do with
else,
your stick?
So
It's still with me.
Still
I'll
holding it,
put
presumably.
it-
Or
Probably
maybe
stood
legs
in
against
the...
the wall. Yeah.
It's
Oh,
propped
you know,
against...
it's in the bloody umbrella stand, isn't it?
No, it's literally propped against the wall next to me.
My cane is.
Fair enough.
so I
If
think
there's an
that
umbrella
gets
stand,
me
my cane is
15.
definitely in it.
We were travelling at night with two people of particular interest. I wasn't leaving it behind.
Fair enough. Okay.
I'm not throwing a card in,
Okay.
but I say I have great.
Right. Those of you, the basic information is that this is indeed the Lord Fullenham of legend.
Great, someone whose name I can never say.
That's quite some title, Lord Fullenham of Legend.
Yes.
Yeah, it's deep. It's in deepest, darkest Cheshire.
Yes.
Out where
Yes.
Legend is.
Yeah.
It's
It's
alright,
near,
Knight. Just call him Lord F.
yes. It's legend. It's next to
I
Tone.
still think you should just call him Lord Full of It and be done with it.
I'll just call him the effing Lord.
Yeah, that works too.
No, that's Lord Howard of Effingham.
Those of you who made the rather more advanced check,
What was the requirement for the rather more advanced check?
the rather more advanced check was 14.
Better than good, really, wasn't it?
Sorry,
Yeah.
I caught the
right then.
team.
14.
Cool, I made that one too.
Damn, I didn't make it.
Yes, you did you?
No, I made 12. 6
But
plus
it's-
6 is 12 last time I checked.
Yeah, the jack's mine,
Oh, sorry, my apologies.
which with my
Yeah,
4
that ain't
gives me
mine.
15.
Let me just double check
You
my numbers.
thought I had a jack? In
Yeah,
the
I'm-
right suit?
I'm just going on 8.
Actually, no, I got it wrong. It's 10. It's
Oh, I got it
laborious. Yeah. I was making life too hard for you. 14 is challenging.
As
You'd
usual.
never do that, would you?
Not
Never on a Sunday.
accidentally. Wouldn't do this by accident.
I've known her for 20 years. She's never done anything else.
You haven't, you know. You've known me for at least 27.
Yes, I know, but I wasn't going to work out the exact amount. And it wasn't 30, so...
Yeah, not quite. Getting there. Right. So, you can... with the advanced check. Lord Fullenham, you have heard rumour, because he is a famous agent of the Prince, specifically. There is rumour that it is not his actual entitlement.
Really?
It's unclear what it is, and he definitely has the rank,
But
But-
it's a cover.
but what his genuine entitlement is not known.
Interesting.
So definitely Lord Full of It.
Lord Fullenham, I presume.
So Randolph, he gives you a little bow and does the whole heels click together thing towards Lyricane and greets you by name.
And title?
With
Predi-
indeed, yes.
Yeah, he will
title.
know my title.
Yeah.
I've been being very rude and not using your title because I can't remember it.
To be like, Lyricane doesn't actually care if any of you guys use it or not. He only tends to use it in full diplomatic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is like right at the beginning. Randolph told everybody to call him Randolph.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he likes to use the title when he's talking to people like Jared.
Yes. Yeah. Lord Fullenham, these people, I am aware who they are. You can wait outside.
All of us?
No. You,
I
want
think,
where I can see you.
I think the term here is debriefing.
Yes. Sherry, Jarrett.
Water for me, I don't drink when I'm on duty.
Quite.
Never really been a sherry drinker. Another tea will be fine.
He hangs his opera cloak on the hat stand and drops his cane into the umbrella stand next to Randolph's. It makes a satisfyingly heavy thud.
Thunk. Yeah.
Lyricanes will be there as well.
I'm putting little names on. You have to
Yeah.
you get your mums to say your names onto your walking sticks.
I feel like I
has
should have invested in a cane.
mine has a silver wolf's head on it.
Oh, of course it
Actually
does.
said in character. I feel like I should have invested in a cane.
Yeah.
Then I wouldn't feel left out.
We'll have to get you one, old boy.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
Have another quickly, old boy.
In fact, I can recommend you an excellent instructor if you want to learn something new.
Yeah,
Could be
I
useful.
mean, my state in Bavaria is Falkenstein. It's not subtle.
No, that's fair enough. You never get Livercane, never knowingly understated.
Exactly.
Right. So I have had a message implying that you, he turns to the dwarfs, have information regarding a matter of extreme importance to the crown. So give. Now, what? Where is Chekhov?
Now that is an interesting question.
Right, you don't have him. Good.
No.
You're looking for him, though.
We believe we might know who
Well,
does
we
have
did.
him.
Right. Let's have all the information you have, and I'll decide whether or not it's worth my while.
You know what? I hate to say it, my lord, but you're beginning to irritate me.
A little politeness would have been nice.
Good.
Please and thank you.
His shoulders slightly slump. My apologies, it's been a very long 2 days.
You know,
Yes,
so.
It
we've
definitely
been
has.
between us 3 fights and seen at least 2 murders in that time. Sorry, 3 murders in that time.
Understandable then.
4. Sorry, losing count.
4. I
Only
believe,
one sounds full.
One I've forgotten.
I think your sound engine may need kicking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it sounds fine at my end.
No, there was a little bit of a.
I think that's probably Discord rather
Okay.
than...
VC even.
Well,
Right.
Yeah, VC don't normally do that. That's
No,
weird.
it's okay now. But there was slightly talking from the bottom of a bucket. Right. So far as I can tell, the death toll of this interesting little event stands at 4 in the British Isles.
With 3 of them in the museum.
Assuming that they're the same 4 I'm thinking of, that sounds right, yes.
Yes.
2 guards, the 1 Fey and the Druid.
And
Yeah.
upwards of approximately 40 in Prussia. But it's hard to get accurate information on
Don't-
that.
Don't know about Prussia.
The brothers glance at each other and look slightly shifty.
I just raised an eyebrow at them.
As do I.
Yeah, they shrug.
You
Well, my lord, we are quite willing to tell you everything that we know, and to hand these fellows over to your care on one condition.
Condition.
Yes. We have rather assured them that they will be well treated and protected. If you can guarantee that, then we're all good.
If
so
their
not throwing them in a prison cell would be good.
information is what I think it is, we can ascertain its veracity, then yes. I think we can offer them the protection of the crown.
Yes, that sounds just a little bit too conditional for my liking. You will offer them the protection of the crown until such time as you have finished getting information from them. Whether you do so afterwards can be dependent upon the value of their information entirely at your own whim. However, I must insist that until such time as you choose to let them go, they will be well treated and protected.
Obviously, at this point, in full candour, Your Lordship, it should be made clear that the hospitality of the Bavarian government has been extended to them as well.
Oh, I really don't think there's any need for that.
Probably not, but I thought I would let you know that that is the case as well.
I don't think it's your decision to make, my lord.
Your conditions seem reasonable.
Excellent.
So,
Then we're all happy.
what do you already know? I'm aware that you attended the soiree at the museum. I'm aware that you were present at the murder of at least 2 guards. I am also aware that you apparently had a meeting in clandestine fashion with an agent of Prussia.
Let's wind back a little to the
that we did
death of the 2 guards.
We were not present at the death of the 2 guards. Our investigation proves that they were quite clearly killed in advance of time and merely placed there when it needed. So, no, we weren't present at their deaths. We were merely present at the substitution of those people who were pretending to be those guards and the actual corpses of the original guards. That was the way we read it, wasn't it, fellows?
Indeed.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right.
Really?
Yes, we were able to track down that part of this was carried out with the assistance of one Ewan Davies, a member of the Grand Order of Birds, or whatever it is that you people call yourselves.
That's your lot.
And we attempted to
we wish to talk to him.
Interview's a good word, yes. We attempted to interview him to see what he could tell us about the situation. Unfortunately, we got there just as somebody who we have identified as one Benjamin Hawke killed him. Really. Put simply. You know all about that. It's in your list of murders.
Yes.
Yes, we were unable to prevent the death or indeed Hawke's departure.
You saw him then?
No sooner, who knows? Well, I didn't personally.
I did. I saw him absconding from the scene of the crime, and however, he was most... once he caught sight of me, he was most rude in his method of absconding.
I'm moderately impressed. You saw his face and lived.
Not without some...
It was a close run thing, wasn't it?
Yes. Some amazing dexterity from myself,
Yeah.
but...
Lord Fullenham, we got skills.
So our next line of investigation, after that one proved to be a literal dead end, took us to these gentlemen who yourself, your agents, and the police force have been running around town failing to locate for the past 2 days.
Wow.
And obviously the information that we got from them is not worth our while telling to you because you'll get it from them directly, so it's unnecessary.
Anything you want. We'll tell you anything you want.
We did encounter a group of fellows apparently sent by the Laird of Lochshiel, whose instruction was to retrieve the on his behalf. We are not 100% certain of the connection between him and Hawke, but we believe there may well be one. We dissuaded them, mainly with the assistance of our Bavarian friend here. So maybe a nice thank you letter to his government letter.
Okay, at the mention of the laird, the stiff upper lip slightly cracks and indeed curls.
Well,
Into
we
a
do
smile, into something else,
Contempt.
into a snarl. Right.
we do know of a... We were made aware of a connection between the Laird and Mr. Hawke, particularly through his son.
We have no evidence of this connection, but
It is merely anecdotal.
absolutely.
However, first-hand accounts that I have obtained would make this particularly truthsome.
Right.
Further information that we have not yet mentioned to you includes the fact that the original plan to remove Chekhov from this country was being overseen by Graf Friedrich Klein.
The agent you met with.
Yes, he is, I believe, a diplomat of some kind.
I cough at that, but yeah.
So you already know about him, so that's not really that important. But
Like sotto voce in German, it's like there's nothing diplomatic about that, gentlemen.
Bastard.
yeah,
Yes, that's going to end up in...
You'll chuckle somewhat.
Yes. Gentlemen,
So, gentlemen,
what I have to tell you is strictly sub rosa. And that includes...
Are you sure you want to be telling us? I mean, we've done our thing. We've found what we've found, and we're handing it over to you now.
If your story is correct, very carefully it doesn't say true. It's entirely possible you have put yourselves in the firing line. And I would consider it unwise.
Encountered Hawk and not dead. Yeah, we're in the firing line.
I've been in the firing line.
Very literally, Mr. Carter.
Lyricane specifically, us by association, we are in the firing line. There's no possibly about it.
In which case, it would be unsporting of me to leave you any further in the dark.
Agreed.
You have proven helpful thus far. We have been looking for the brothers for some considerable days.
So since before Chekhov went missing?
Indeed. I only had word after their departure that they had applied to the...
They turned up at the museum during his exhibition. Did you have nobody there watching?
My agent wasn't aware of their appearance.
Might I suggest you get better agents? Or just better information distribution?
I am endeavouring to so do, sir. As we speak. These young men...
I will ask now, because this is a matter of some concern to me, and I have little, to be honest, interest in what you're about to tell us. I will listen, but I don't really have much interest. But one thing that does interest me greatly is, what have you done with the painting?
Which painting? The painting that was being abused by that young idiot.
No, the important painting. The painting of the thing you're trying to buy from Chekhov.
I believe that's with the other... what?
Yes. You see, the plans you're trying to buy, they are the painting. Best secure it.
We've looked at all his works and we didn't see any secret message.
You're going to need help from these fellows who know how to decode it. So best treat them well, because the last thing you want is for them to decide they'd rather be Bavarian.
And I suggest a big bottle of varnish. A big bottle of paint thinner.
Doesn't answer the question of where is it?
Yes. You are looking after it, aren't you?
It's not in my hands.
In whose hands is it in?
I would suggest maybe a word immediately is sent to the Harrisons.
I think that sounds like an excellent idea. He appears livid. Not with you lot. But he does appear very, very angry indeed. As he stands up and moves to the door, you hear running footsteps. And then you hear Jarrett's voice outside. And he slams the door open.
The Harrisons have been murdered and everything in their house has been stolen.
Not a million miles adrift.
Their house has been firebombed.
No, I'm thinking more the expedition has been heisted on transit.
Alexei is closest.
You win the prize. Well done.
A young constable is shoved into the room by Jarrett. Tell him. Yes, sir. My lord, there's been a fire and a theft. There's been an art theft. A number of sculptures and paintings have been stolen, and we believe that a couple of people are missing, sir.
Who's missing? What paintings? Sorry,
And where?
did any of you guys want to ask first?
So when did they take the Harrisons?
Well, this evening, sir. About an hour ago.
I see. Avon. Do you know whether either of the Harrisons actually knew the disposition of the plans?
They look slightly nervously at each other, and then Arthur pipes up. Mrs. Harrison knew the painting was the plans, but we didn't tell her how.
Yeah.
She knew it was in there.
So she can point them at the right painting, though. Well,
Yeah.
I would say, my lord, that you have your work cut out for you, and you're going to need to move awfully quickly.
Where was the art taken from?
It was apparently stolen from their home. They moved everything back from an exhibition they'd been having at the British Museum, and it was being stored in an attic space at their home.
Just to narrow down what I'm hating, the next question is, where's the fire?
Oh, it was apparently set to cover the theft, but
So
there
at their
were,
home.
but they appeared to have been prepared, and well, it didn't catch, not properly.
Well, that's something, I suppose. Something for the Harrisons. Doesn't do us any good. Sorry, I say us. I keep saying us, don't I? I keep acting as if we're in some way involved in this. Doesn't do you any good, your lordship.
But the Harrisons haven't been taken. Mr. and Mrs. Harrison, they haven't been taken. Mr. Harrison is missing. Mrs. Harrison is in hospital.
They got the wrong Harrison. You want to put a guard on her.
He also said a couple of people are missing.
Yeah. Yes, you did.
Who's the other person?
Well, who are the other persons?
A manservant, I gather, butler type.
Inside job,
Don't
he
have a
said it
lot of information on him.
Probably a plant.
I actually turn to Lord Fullenham at this point and say, you are assured of Captain. He was captain, wasn't he, Harrison?
Yeah,
You are assured of Captain Harrison's loyalty?
absolutely. He's You don't hear any of this, he says to the young constable, and then shuts the door against the guards outside. He's performed admirably for the crown in the past. He is a great man of action.
I'm going to ask the dwarves. You said Mrs. Harrison knows. Does Mr. Harrison know?
We never told him.
I think you're asking the wrong person. My lord, you know Mr. Harrison. You're aware of his nature. Presumably, you have some understanding of his relationship with his wife. Given that she had this great secret, would she have told him?
I believe he was aware that the plans existed. But
not where.
Mr. Harrison is, and ever has been, a man of action, of deeds, not of long planning.
So we can be assured that no matter what they do to him, Harrison is unable to tell them the location of the plans.
And I doubt he would, even under the strictest of questioning.
I'm going to ask the young officer, where's Mrs. Harrison now?
Leave, and he'll name, I think it's St. Thomas's, but I need to check. Hospital. She breathed in a great deal of smoke.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm going to take a jog. Because that is probably going to be the next target if they're going to get nothing from Mr. Harrison.
I would suggest a police escort, Alexei.
I would suggest that this really isn't our concern. I mean, we've done our duty. We've been patriotic. We've looked into the whole business. We've brought what we know to the relevant authorities. Right?
We are also not going to be able to turn away and walk away because we are in the firing line.
Well, yes, so we keep hearing, but...
And if we're in the firing line anyway,
So
it can be a
Randolph,
benefit to the Crown.
So Randolph, I would take it as a personal favour if you and your associates... The looking up and down was at Luricane.
I just smiled.
would consider lending your aid.
What my associates do is entirely their own business, and I can highly recommend every one of them to you. While I have known them for a very short space of time, I have found them to be trustworthy and reliable individuals with good heads upon their shoulders and good intentions in their hearts. Should you wish to take them into your confidence and make use of them, I would thoroughly approve of that activity. For myself, I don't really see there's anything further I can do in this matter. I've done my bit. I honestly don't see where I'm going to be of use to you.
Are you honestly refusing an opportunity to do service to your queen?
I have done service to the Queen, sir. I have done in this particular matter greater service than you have. I am offering you the chance to do your duty.
Then, sir, I believe your carriage awaits and you may leave.
I would like to say that it has been a pleasure, Lord Fulham. We have interests in common and loyalties in common, but unfortunately it's not.
He will stand
Randolph.
aside quite
It has been
dramatically.
my pleasure, gentlemen.
Before
I
you
hope
go,
I will meet you again.
And yourself, Sir Randolph.
I would like to ask if you would accompany us. You have skills that could be useful.
I would agree.
My skills, sir, were primarily in dealing with the establishment. We have dealt with the establishment. You now have their backing. Indeed, a request from them for their aid. I honestly don't see what further I can do. But
I've never worked with this man. I've worked with you.
You have a great deal to offer in this.
I would not want to let down my friends. If it is your desire that I accompany you, I shall accompany you.
I would consider it a personal favour as well, Sir Randolph, being as you are much more familiar with the workings of the British establishment than the rest of us, and your services as a valuable interlocutor are not to be underestimated.
Bonus points for getting interlocutor into a sentence correctly.
I love the idea of the only person here who uses words like interlocutor accusing somebody else of being one.
Oh wow, thank you anyone from Nocturne Stream. Nice to see you
Hey
guys.
folks.
Excellent timing. We are about to start winding up
Such is the way of things.
because that is how life works.
And
I'd-
one other thing, Sir Randolph. I'm supposed to be your bodyguard. I can't do that if I'm working for him and you're somewhere else.
Well, you were supposed to be Chekhov's bodyguard. That didn't stop you.
Wow, Sir Randolph really doesn't make friends easily.
He really
You've
doesn't.
ditched me. Are you ditching me too?
As an employer, yes. At
I'm a
this
free
point,
agent.
I would like to terminate our arrangement. I no longer feel that I have need of your services. However, as I have said, if you gentlemen are going along to undertake an operation on behalf of Lord Fullerton, and you wish me to accompany you, it would be churlish of me to refuse.
Thank you.
Right.
But he will pace across and pick his cane out of the umbrella stand.
Lord Fullerton, as you just
Carter.
heard, I'm a free agent. How much do you pay?
And on that, we will draw a veil over these proceedings, end the scene, and next episode we will be dealing with whatever happened to Adelaide Harrison.